is this going to be a 4 or 5 lap race? I think it's going to be a 4-lap race. Unless Bryson Neal,
I think you're right, yeah.
Unless Bryson Neal really picks up the pace out there.
That's true, too.
Yeah, but if you do the math, it should put us at well over the 1 hour and 40-minute mark.
Walker Fowler pops out first, and Bryson, without a doubt, looking for opportunities to pass. And so far, so good for Walker Fowler, being able to close the door on him and not allow him to pass.
Fourth lap, it's pit stop time. There is Walker Fowler in fresh goggles, fresh gas for Bryson Neal in the VP Fuels Pro Row. And Bryson Neal out first. Bryson Neal makes the pass in the pro pit. Folks, Walker Fowler, fist in the air as he pumps it up, my friends. And Walker Fowler takes the White's Coat John Fenton GNCC win number 64.
And like I said, just, man, first good start I had in a while, and it's just kind of key anymore in this pro class. Just so much talent. You know, you got, Bryson Walker, Cole, and Hunter, all these guys. They get out front early and they run away with it. So it was good to be in the mix. Just ran good, clean laps all day. Yeah, we're heading to High Point Raceway next race, which is a Pennsylvania round. Last year had a real good ride going there, so I'm going to take this and roll there with a bit more confidence and a bit more optimistic. So looking to try to get a win one of these times, man. I'm overdue and I really want one.
You are overdue. That nails it right there. Taking second place today, Jared McClure.
Congratulations to.
All right, you guys make some noise for your overall winner here today, Walker Fowler. There you go. Bang! Popping bottles on the GNCC podium. Congratulations. Make some noise one more time. Your overall winner here today, Walker Fowler. Popping bottles on the GNCC podium. Make some noise one more time for Jared McClure. Yeah, buddy. Cheers.
It's race day again in Southwest Pennsylvania as round 8 in GNCC racing comes to town for the Mason-Dixon GNCC. In the shadows of motocross royalty and High Point Raceway, the Matthews family farm plays host to today's action. Nearly 90-degree temperatures are forecasted, but some rain fell this week that will lead to some wet areas in the woods. After 7 rounds, it's all Walker Fowler, and so far, he's had but one challenger, Bryson Neal. But after a major get-off in Ohio, Neal's season is done, and he'll have to watch the Racer TV broadcast at home until next year. So can anyone ride with Fowler? So far, the answer is no. And that's not a knock on anyone. He's just that good and all-time fast. Hunter Hart has shown flashes, and Cole Richardson has stood toe-to-toe with the champ before. Barring a major change in circumstance, the championship is safe with the number 1 for another year. That doesn't mean that today won't be epic. Anytime someone believes they can win, you never know what can happen. And every rider on the front row believes just that. They have what it takes. Do they? We'll find out next. live on Racer TV.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Hello and welcome to America's premier off-road racing championship. It is round number 8 of the 2021 GNCC Series presented by Specialized and AMA National Championship. I'm Rodney Tom along with Mikey Waynes, and today we are at Matthews Farm for this running of the Mason-Dixon GNCC, all brought to us this weekend by our good friends at Parts Unlimited. And of course, Mikey, we know what that means. We're back in the heart of GNCC Racing Nation territory, right across the road from High Point Raceway, which is going to be hosting the High Point Motocross National here in a couple of weeks. And of course, with that, we know there is a lot of great things in the air, from nostalgia to great things that are going to be happening here in the future. And as we roll into this weekend of racing, man, what a lot of things that have happened in the last 2 weeks, at least the news front of things. When we got the news about Bryson Neal after that incident at John Penton, having the problems, limped the bike across in 4th place, he announced on social media that his season was complete. He's having surgery done, and he hopes to be back for the 2022 season in full strength and full force. So we'll just have to hope that everything's going to be all right with him. But at the same time, Mikey, that leaves things wide open as far as that number 2 position in the championship this year. I know that Walker's still a little far out. Guys probably aren't looking at necessarily chasing down the championship yet, but another thing we got to remember, we're only heading into the second half of the season, and there's a lot of things that can happen over the course of the next 6 races or so.
That's exactly it, Rodney. I mean, we got 2 rounds before summer break, so maybe riders are where they want to be. Maybe they're not quite where they want to be, where they picture themselves this season. And you want to carry that momentum heading into that summer break. And now with a guy sadly out for the rest of the season like Bryson Neal, hey, the thing is, it opens up the window of opportunity for a lot of other guys, like Hunter Hart.
Right, Hunter Hart, like Cole Richardson, who's won this race here at Mason-Dixon at this property on Matthews Farms the last 2 times. We were here at 2 stops last year. He won both of those rounds. So, you know, he's feeling pretty stoked about this one. And the good thing about this one, we got some rain in the early part of the week, so the track is not going to be as dry and dusty as what we've seen it in years past, and not as dry and dusty as what we've seen a couple of weeks ago in the great state of Ohio. Only a couple of hours from where we are right now as things kicked off there, Mikey. It was a great weekend for racing, and everything that we wanted out of a John Penton GNCC, I think that we got.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, Rodney. And for Walker Fowler to come out and get that win and get that momentum back, some may say, well, he inherited the win. Maybe so. But from this point on, and we've said it so many times this season, if you want the championship, you still got to go through Walker Fowler. And he finds himself in a good position here moving forward. He doesn't necessarily have to win races now. Does he want to win? Absolutely, he wants to win. But he's in a situation where he can really manage this championship and not have to get wins to do so.
I'll tell you, looking at the finishes and the way this race broke down at John Penton GNCC, I mean, like you say, Bryson Neal, as he has been so many races this year, on a whole different level. And, of course, rolling into the John Penton GNCC, having won the previous 3 races that had taken place there with Burr Oak last year, the John Penton GNCC last year, and the year before the John Penton GNCC. Yeah. You know, there were a lot of fans out in full force, and that's kind of like what we were expecting and anticipating. But collision with lap traffic, it caused him to veer off the track, and unfortunately hit a vehicle, injured his knee, and he is out for the season, as we had mentioned about that. But like we said, I mean, you mentioned Hunter Hart, Cole Richardson, you got Jared McClure, you got Adam McGill. You can never count out Adam McGill as far as the Gator is concerned. And you have to think that Chris Borch, something's going to have to start clicking for Chris Borch again. He's got this program back, and he's getting it more and more dialed in. He's back to more familiar territory here in southwestern Pennsylvania. So I think we might see some bigger things out of him as we roll into this round, and hoping for bigger things out of him as we roll.
Man, Rodney, I am ready for it. And of course the XC2 class as well. Ronnie Rush in control of that points championship. Ben Kavaleski, a guy that is turning it on. Tanner Walker sitting third, Brandon Owens fourth, and Kenny Schick running out the top 5. When you look at that top 10 in the XC2 class, we've said this many times, the point standings don't really tell the whole story. I mean, you look at Wyatt Wilkin in the 6th place position, and that guy is capable of winning every time he is out there on the track.
And these names that we see in that XC2 Pro-Am class, I mean, they're all capable of winning, and every one of them has been said, this is the next guy.
Yeah.
So many people in so many different camps. So, you know, Brandon Owens, there's a lot of stock put in that camp, and obviously Ronnie Rush, you know, since his rise through the youth ranks and through the amateur ranks into the XC2 Pro-Am class, we've been expecting big things out of him as well. Wyatt Wilkin, and like we said, I mean, the top 10 is peppered with names that are capable of winning not only races but championships. So that XC2 Pro-Am class is really a great place to focus your attention if you're a true racing fan.
That nails it right there, Rodney. Well, Mason-Dixon GNCC, I'm ready to get going. We're going to see it, take a look at what today's track conditions will be like with our Yamaha Racing track description with Jared Bolton.
Thanks, guys. Well, we're back here at Matthews Farm for the Mason-Dixon GNCC. This place actually has a rich history in GNCC racing. Started as part of the series in 2001, stuck around for a few years, and then it went away for quite a few years. Came back in 2018, and it's been a big hit ever since. Basically, when we went away, the place was kind of small. Since then, they added in a bunch of property, expanded the track down into West Virginia, and that is why we call it the Mason-Dixon, because it sits right here on the Mason-Dixon line. You're racing in both states. That's really cool, and both sides of the state line have a really unique feel. When you're on this Pennsylvania side, the trees are really thick, the undergrowth is thick. We've never raced it in June, minus last year's High Point GNCC, which we didn't run the West Virginia side. That was a unique feel. It's kind of hot in that green stuff. It's going to give some of those guys that are used to the hot temperatures a little bit of an advantage. When you get across the state line in West Virginia, the woods kind of open up a little bit. You can breathe a little bit better. And since it's West Virginia, guess what? There's a few rocks over there as well. It only seems fitting. But of course, this is a beautiful facility, great racetrack. People really love coming here. We love coming here. And hey, I say it every week, this one does. It's got something for everybody. There might not be any super tight bike-only single track, but there really is some tighter trail, some faster trail. We got fields. And if we wanted to, we can go over there and run the motocross track at High Point. But hey, we'll save that for another time. The Nationals coming up soon. Don't want to wreck the place. That's this weekend's track description. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Jared. Looks like we got another great racetrack here on the Mason-Dixon line as the boys are about ready to go at it. Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
Rocky Mountain ATV MC, retailer, distributor, manufacturer, product developer, parts tester. This is what we do, but who we are is something much simpler. We're riders, like you. 100% employee owned and operated, a company built by riders, entirely for riders. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready.
The directive: advance human performance beyond biological limitation.
This Racer TV broadcast is brought to you by Specialized Turbo E-Bikes. It's you, only faster. And by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
Go.
All righty, thanks a lot, Tim Cotter, as we welcome you along the World Wide Web at racertv.com for our live coverage of this 2021 Parts Unlimited Mason-Dixon GNCC, folks. And, of course, right now we are about ready to go. Riders are all on the line, just waiting for the official word to go racing. We're waiting on Jared Bolton to make his way in, and Ryan Eccles off the race course from this morning's 11 o'clock race. And, of course changes being made, the trail being cleared. We had some rain showers coming in from the week. Now, that's not such a huge deterrent, I guess, out on the course, but it did create a little bit different obstacles for us this weekend. And, of course, riders still coming off the racetrack. And we had another nice turnout as far as those things are concerned. But, again, just great opportunities here in the shadows of our home offices of racertv.com. We're going to, while we got this moment, we're going to step up and try to take and talk to a few folks before we get this day up and rolling race-wise, and while we wait on Jared. And I'll tell you, probably one rider that a lot of folks may be interested in hearing from today may be the Cole Train himself, Cole Richardson, who is featured on the event T-shirt, and also the winner of the last two events that took place right here at this very property. Oh, he's up here in the shade. He just took off. Wow, he's all dressed in red, white, and blue. Love the look of the ATV as we're up here in, turn number 2 right now. And you're hoping to be head of the pack when we come out of this one, because the last couple of times we were here, whenever those checker flags flew, you were definitely at the head of the pack here at the Matthews Farm. Welcome back here, Cole Richardson. I know you're pretty amped up about today.
Yeah, this track just seems to treat me well. We're about, hour 45, 2 hours from home, and somehow, some way, we just end up with the lead there. It always seems to be me and Walker there on the last lap, and it ends up being a good race, and we end up with the win those last few times. I think we have about 3 or 4 here, but all we need is a good start. We've been kind of being shuffled in the back of the pack and working from the back and catching up to these guys. Fitness and the lap times, everything are there. It's just not being there at the beginning, and if we can do that, it's going to be a good race.
Well, we're heading into the second half of the season. In one respect, it's hard to believe we've made it to this point, and in another respect, I know you've been hoping to get to this point because really things have been building for you, and the peak seems to be starting for you about right now.
Yeah, last year we got good starts, but kind of, sometimes couldn't run up front. This year we're kind of having to work for it a lot harder, which I think actually kind of made me faster and, kind of lit a fire. So, as long as we can get a good start, I know we can stay up there, we can run the pace and fight for the win. It's just a matter of, getting that start. And if we don't, just get through the pack and get up there as quick as we can.
No doubt about it. Well, Cole, I know there's been a lot of pressure put on you this weekend, and a lot of it comes from yourself. I don't know if it's good to have the confidence coming in of winning the past 2 events here and actually being so successful here, whether that puts too much pressure on you or whether it's going to make it easier for you.
Oh, it kind of a little bit of pressure, but it's really not. Like I said, I've told people I felt like I've rode a lot better at other races and not as good here, still end up winning. So, it's GNCC racing. Anything can happen. I mean, it's kind of a shame Bryson's out, but anything can happen in these races. Obviously, we want to get the win. We ride really good here. I am pretty confident here, but, we're just see how the cards fall into place.
We most certainly will, and those cards will hopefully be falling here pretty soon. Going to take an opportunity while we have still a moment here. We're going to stop down and talk to our 6-time defending GNCC champion, Walker Fowler, who's, well, I tell you, since a year ago, so many things have changed, and if you'd have talked to him a year ago, maybe he would have been a lot more confident. But, and not taking anything away from his confidence, but, since a year ago, after we got back from the summer break, you've been a little different person, still confident, still fast, and all that stuff. But, you recognize the competition is coming, and you respect those guys.
Oh, I definitely recognize competition. I definitely respect it. And I also like to play a little bit of mind games and, buy into the internet hoopla. So, kind of like Cole said, it's a shame Bryson's not here. Wishing him if he listens to any of this stuff, wish you the best and, get healthy. Hopefully surgery went well yesterday. You never want to see one of our top athletes, not be lining up from a pretty severe injury. So, that's part of racing, though. And, I guess we take that gamble every time we line up. I had a conversation with Johnny Gallagher, and, he was a huge Bob Sloan fan. And every time we put this helmet on, anything can happen. And so, yeah, it's just kind of a reality check every once in a while. But let's just get back to the happy stuff. Yeah, we're four wins in on this season, right where we need to be, and finally we're starting to come back around and getting this program. Just more or less my head, getting my head back in the game, getting my fitness back, and getting my strength back in my hand. That really has affected me last year when I cut that part of my finger off, little guy here. But that's part of it. You have to adapt and overcome, or you might as well leave it in the trailer. So we're doing our best to learn, and I think last race we finally proved that we have the speed again, but we're just missing one little step.
Well, I tell you, I think if there's anybody that's going to find that step, it's going to be you, Walker. And we've mentioned it a couple times. We haven't necessarily talked about it yet on the Racer TV broadcast today, but if you follow social media and you follow Bryson Neal, it was reported shortly after the John Penton GNCC that his season was done. And I know a lot of race fans probably we're a little, disappointed in that. And I have to think you two as a competitor were a little disappointed in that. It probably changes up a little bit, but at the same time, like we said, there's so much competition out there. You can't rest on the fact that just because Bryson's there that it's not going to be competitive today.
We were taking bets that it was kind of a mind game that he was playing, that he was going to be lining up with us today. So, it sucks that he really is actually hurt. But yeah, honestly, just because Bryson isn't here today, he's never won here. Cole Richardson has a 75% win average here. I'm the only other one that's ever beat him at this property, and kid's tough. He comes in here with the right attitude, and his bike works well here. He's a Pennsylvania native, and man, like I said, he's just tough to beat here. Another rider to look out for today, and I know, just stats and history is Jared McClure, who had a outstanding ride last race. So. And another guy that showed some stuff last weekend at a local race is Chris Borich. I think he finally got some stuff dialed in on that Suzuki and kind of felt like himself for the first time this year. So there's a couple of guys I'm definitely keeping an eye out for. And like you said, it's just because one guy isn't here that honestly it's everyone else gets extra confident again, just like round one, and they fill those shoes. So I expect it to be a nail biter just like always.
No doubt about that. Thank you, Walker. And it looks like we're about to find out what you guys are about to face as Jared Bolton has made his way in off the trail. And now with a description of the course and what to look forward to here this afternoon, Junior Trail Boss and co-course designer Jared Bolton.
Yeah, thank you, Rodney. Oh, man. As long as you guys fare well mechanically, better than the last lap of the morning there, you guys are going to have an absolute blast. Even the guys that broke down still said that they really had a lot of fun. So you're going to take off from the start here. You're basically starting at the end of the lap. You're going to bypass the finish your first time around. You're going to go down through here, work over a little piece of woods, cross the field, little piece of woods, then field section over that finish bypass. And then you're going to work your way over the other side of the property, down a good little piece of woods there, in and out of the field a couple of times to the 1 mile mark. Nothing too hard through there. All the way over to the 2s. Just really good, kind of open, flowy trail. Continue on past the 2. You'll get the FMF PowerPoint hill climb there. The morning ran it. They didn't have any trouble with it, so you guys won't have any trouble either. That's going to bring you out top of the hill there, out in the field for just a second. Drop back in the woods, and at the 3 mile mark, you're crossing over across the state line into West Virginia. Woods kind of change a little bit over there, get a little bit different, a little more rock over there. It's a little tighter, still flowy, but a little tighter, and it's a little ruddy right now. A little bit after you get over there in West Virginia, you guys are going to cut off of the morning stuff. You're going to go over a pretty fun little section on the other side of the power line over there. Hasn't been ridden yet. There's one little hill climb in there, but you got a straight shot at it now. They put a pipe in across the creek there and doze that stuff, so you guys won't have any trouble with that. Fun little technical section there, bring you over the 4 mile mark, ties you back into the morning course. Keep going on around there, all the way the 4 to the 5, just up and down and back and forth, a couple little off cambers, but nothing too hard. At the 5, you'll kind of drop down into a little valley, work your way back up out of the valley, come back down again, and then you're going to cross over a little creek and work your way into that section of woods over there after that little creek crossing feels totally different. It's a lot less of that green undergrowth. It's a little more open. Really fun trail out through there. That'll take you to the 6 mile mark. And then past 6 kind of tightens back up again all the way over to the 7 mile mark. And then about 7 1/4, you're crossing back into Pennsylvania again. Pretty fun little section through there. That'll take you through the Method Alley. You'll come out through there, work your way over to the 8-mile mark, and then a little past the 8, you guys are going to split off on that morning track again. You'll cut a hard, like, U-turn left around a piece of string there at the Monster Mile. Pretty fun, little bit technical section there, a bunch of off-cambers and that kind of stuff. Like, you'll be the first ones to run it this weekend, but you've rode it before if you've raced here before. Pretty fun little trail there. Bring you back to that Monster Mile again. Continue on through there over to the 9-mile mark. From the 9 to the 10, there's really nothing too hard. You got one little field section in there. The trail is really fun, really flowy. And then at that 10-mile mark, you guys are going to cut straight. You're going to run into the field for just a second, come backwards up part of the start. But up to the right of the start, you guys are going to go into these woods behind the start. That'll get you over to the pro pits. Come out and around the pro pits, back to the 11-mile mark, into the finish, and that time you'll go actually through the finish that time. So it's 11.5 miles for you guys. Beautiful course. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I have. So good luck, be safe, have fun, and pay attention to those arrows, everybody.
Safety first. GNCC racing, like all motorsports, can be dangerous. Racers, now that you have had an opportunity to inspect the course, have heard the race procedures and a description of the course, if you feel that either you or your machine is not prepared, then now is the time for you to withdraw for a complete refund of your entry fee, no questions asked. It is your responsibility to operate your machine in a safe manner, maintaining control at all times. Extreme caution is required when approaching areas with high concentrations of fans. Do not take unnecessary risks that endanger the safety of fans. You will be penalized for reckless racing. Race fans, due to the nature of GNCC racing, there is no fence barrier around the race course. It is your responsibility to keep yourself and your children a safe distance from the race course. Never turn your back on oncoming racers, and remember, stay off the racetrack. For the safety of everyone, unauthorized drones are prohibited and will be confiscated. Finally, these are challenging times, and we must all do our part to keep ourselves and each other safe from infectious disease. Please maintain a safe 6-foot distance from people you do not live with, and wear a face mask when you cannot social distance. Wash your hands and use hand sanitizer often. Although this may be somewhat inconvenient, it is necessary for your safety. Thank you for your cooperation.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to ask a blessing on today's race, Mr. Ricky Towery.
Thank you, Rodney. Let's go, Lord, and let's have a word of prayer together this afternoon. Heavenly Father, once again, we do thank you for bringing us all together safely to have a little fun together to such a beautiful place. We thank you for the Matthew family for letting us use this piece of property to enjoy our sport. Lord, watch over these riders this afternoon. Keep them safe. Let them go out there and have a good time together. Continue to watch over our military men and women in all parts of the world. Be with our leaders each and every day. Lord, we just thank you that it takes so much to make one of these events happen. It takes the promoters, the landowners, the spectators, the riders, the workers. It takes everybody working together to make this happen. We just thank you for letting each and every one of us have a part in it. Continue to bless this country. Continue to watch over us. Take us all home safely when it's over with so we can get back together again to have some more fun. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please remain standing, stand at attention, remove those caps, and cross those hearts as we honor the greatest nation in the world with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night us that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, here we are, folks, and the stage nearly set as we get set to roll into this 2 o'clock scheduled race this afternoon. And now it's time to meet our starting lineup. Riders of the XC1 Pro Class, our premier racing class here, going to the starting line in accordance to points to the first 7 rounds of the GNCC Championship season. And rolling to the line first, he's a 6-time GNCC champion with 64 wins to his credit. Riding aboard the number 1 from Rogers, Ohio, on the WFR GBC Tires Fly Racing Factory Yamaha, Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line next today, he is 3rd in points aboard the number 3, the winner here last year from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania on Action Off-Road, Kenda Tires, Teely Energy Racing, Moto Oz Yamaha, the Coal Train, Cole Richardson. Going to the line next, he is 4th in points, riding aboard the number 7 from Newfield, New York on the Hunter Hart Racing, Maxxis Fly Racing, Ithaca Recreation Sports Yamaha, Hunter Hart. Rolling to the line next, 5th in points aboard the number 4 from Casca, Pennsylvania on the JMR GBC Elka Moose Racing backed Honda, the Sneaky Snake, aka the Cobra, Jared McClure. Riding aboard the 521 from Waverly, West Virginia on an Ober Tires Moose Racing Parts Unlimited backed Honda, the Gator, Adam McGill. 7th in points aboard the number 5, a 6-time GNCC champion with 75 wins to his credit. From Sunbury, Pennsylvania on the Chris Barch Racing GBC Action Off-Road backed Suzuki, Chris Borich. 8th in points aboard the number 712 from Waxhaw, North Carolina on the Pierce Performance Fly Racing GBC Tires Yamaha, John Glada Jr. Riding aboard the number 8, 9th in points from Akron, Ohio on a Merritt Racing B&R Motorsports GBC Yamaha, Josh Merritt. 10th in points aboard the 741 from Myersville, Maryland on an FTR Graphics Fly Racing 9.2 Goggle Suzuki, WW Wesley Wolf. Riding aboard the 701 from Ithaca, New York on a Custom Axis Goldspeed Hauser Racing Yamaha, Greg Covert. Aboard the number 406 from Windsor, New York on a Feehan Racing GBC Fly Racing 9.2 Yamaha, Kevin Feehan. The number 703, the rookie from Petersburg, Indiana on the Action Off-Road Maxxis Demery Motorsports backed Honda of Austin Abney. And last and not least, celebrating his 27th season as an XC1 Pro from Aurora, Ohio, GBC Fly Racing and Factory Yamaha backed ride of Johnny G, Johnny Gallagher. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this, the XC1 Pro Class and our Parts Unlimited Mason-Dixon GNCC. As our riders find their way onto the starting line, picking their final positions before the waving of the green flag, it has come to that time as we turn our attention one more time to the center of this starting line where our Monster Energy Activation Transport is parked and posted. But it's time to go racing, folks, so would you join me in asking our DJ Judd, remove the meat. That's right, Monster Energy Activation Transport off and rolling as we clear that first turn region for all of our riders, nearly 200 strong this afternoon. So barrel head first into that first turn and into the second half of the 2021 season. And as duly noted, we are minus the man second in points today in Bryson Neal. After that incident at the John Penton just a couple of weeks ago, leading into the finish. Surgery yesterday, and the report is that Bryson Neal is doing well. But the GNCC Racing Nation has a spot to fill, and there's a lot of hungry souls out there ready to fight for that spot today, and even the top step of the box. Who's going to come out on top? Will Walker Fowler be able to make it happen? Can Cole Richardson make it 4 wins here at the Matthews Farm with 3 of those in a row? Or will we see a new face center of the box of the podium? We'll find out in about 2 hours and 1 minute. 1 minute before the waving of the green flag and the start of this second half of 2021. All attention turning to Ricky Towery up in turn number 1. The anticipation of what today's race means for so many across this front row today. The vacant spot with Bryson Neal, and now the waving of the blue flags. The nerves only get more and more intense as we shut them down, shut them down, shut them down, and get set to go and turn our attention to Ricky Towery up in turn number 1. And I got to ask you, race fans, are you ready to go GNCC Racing? All right, that's okay, but I'm going to tell you, hey, we got some pioneers here. Teddy Trey, Tom Tokay, they're here. They're the guys that laid the groundwork for what we've got going on here today. Let's welcome them, and let's send these GNCC racers off in fashion today. So I'm going to ask you one more time, GNCC Racing Nation, are you ready to go GNCC Racing? 10 seconds. And row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at the Parts Unlimited Mason-Dixon GNCC. Around that first turn and our whole shot award, the money's up for grabs. It's going to be Hunter Hart, the number 7 from Ithaca, New York, on the Hunter Hart Racing Back Machine. Also Max's Fly Racing and Ithaca Recreation Sports as we go to the XC2 Pro-Am. Trey Cypher, Brody Livengood, Grayson Eller, Christian Meyer, Brandon Owens, Kenny Schick, Daniel Peters, Albert Jadish, Ben Kowalewski, TJ Barrett, Michael McAvoy, Wyatt Wilkin, Dylan Walraven, Roddy Rush, Curtis Ballsback, and Tanner Walker, all poised and ready to strike turn number 1 here in just 10 seconds. And they're off. 16 riders strong, looks like, and feels like about 50 riders, but regardless, the fight is on, and it's going to be the 714 Ronnie Rush from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on the B&R Motorsports, Senge Graphics, Hauser Racing, Bulletproof Doors, backed right. He's also your points leader in this race. Junior 822 plus class, Chris Leak, Alan Blavas, Jeremy Ledon, Tyler Castanelli, Tyler Cosner, also Mick Rice, Alex Alioff, Colton Kasuda, Hunter Johnson, Noah Landis, Levi Cohen, Andrew Phillips, Bryson Mollahan. 10 seconds. Jared Little, Brad Inderell, Jay Shadron, Travis Inderell, Gavin Jenkins, Jonathan Crayenbull, Devin Masters, Cody Parmater, Brady Myers, and Dustin West off and rolling. .438, Jay Shadron from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania. B&R Motorsports Pro Graphics and Custom Access backed rider taking the early lead as we go to the Vet A class. Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens, Brad Whitehead, Dirk DeCesar, Wes Kinsley, James Green, Luke Reeves, Cody Holcomb, Zachary Phillips, Mike Lancaster, and A.J. Kuntz. 10 seconds. Papa P getting those GBCs hooking up on the ground. Let's see what happens coming out of this first turn into turn 2. Whoa, he grabs it barely. Jeff Pickens out of Shamokin, Pennsylvania. GBC Motorsports, Waynesburg, Yamaha, and Fly Racing backed ride. Senior 840 plus class, Brian Axline, Jeremy Gouchard, Brian Foltz, Nick Lambruto, Mark Patson, Chris Conklin, Todd Muscala, and Brian Shaw. All poised and ready to roll in 10 seconds. Man, 7:23, the Marlboro man, Todd Muscala from Uniontown, Pennsylvania, GBC Fly Racing and HMF. College A, Nathan Dearborn, Carson Collins, Dalton Keys, Javian Anderson, 10 seconds. Trey Redmond, Braylon Secura, Wesley Words, Dominic Stevens, Keaton Henderson, Alex Tiemann, Rhett Cox, Chase Allison, Lane McCormick, Jesse Parker, Zach Knight, Cody Forrester, Corey Vanderlander, Caden Ryan, Cameron Avey, Steve Harrell, and James Galata. The 123, Dalton Keys from Holt, Indiana, grabbing the early lead in this College A class. And Junior B is up next, 22 plus class with riders like Corey Pancake, Shane McMillan, Nick May, Zachary DeNoble, Cody Bowles, Dalton Lee, Colin Brooks, Robbie Rosenberger, Nathan Alt, Cody Ballsback, also Justin Cotter, Levi Myers, Travis Blaine, Stephen Hainham. 10 seconds. Joe Murphy, William Wallace, Eric Kroger, Ethan Helbig, Michael Orabello, Corey Blystone, Nick Blaney, Henry Moore, and Ronald Howard. Ron Howard, Mount Morris, PA, a hometown boy in this one out here, not the director. 188, Nick May from Monongahela, Pennsylvania, on a B&R Motorsports Fly GBC backed ride. As we go to the Vet B30 plus class, David Kite, Travis Raphael, Nathan Tickle, Jason Dillard, Taylor Lazelle, Luke Bender, Ryan Simmons, Mark Straw, Rodney Cooper, Ben Dunlap, Cody Connor, Kenneth Rich. Also, Jason Ellis, Mike Reiser, Tim White, Ryan Lecroni, Adam Derrick, and Robert Henson. 10 seconds. Definitely a little different feel to this start with the off-camber action, the right-hand uphill turn into a left hand. Oh, and they get together in this one. Oh, and the 318 on the jersey. I didn't catch the name, but he's going to grab the early lead in this one. As we go to the Senior B40 plus class, Scott Wilhelm, Steve Combs, Jason Limley, Chad Judy, Douglas Bailey, Richard Severs, Russell Fry, Ivo Pahalik, Jason Rude, Rick Marino, Jeremy Van Fossen, also Bobby McCauley, Dave Ashby, Chad Wallace, Robert Stevens, Richie McCauley, and Paul Myers. Crowd getting into it. 10 seconds. I'll tell you what, folks. Crowd here at Mason-Dixon really stoked up. A lot of action in this second turn here. We'll see if it happens again. The 608 of Chad Wallace from St. Clarenceville, Ohio, up front in the out of the second turn. College B, 16-21, Jacob Fleming, Trevor Furby, Paxton Dickerson, Seth Blake, Connor Brandt, Jeremy Kogar, Grant Miller, Colton Dobbs, Preston Rapsack, Evan Grant, Jordan Burnett, Bryson Harper, Riley Sala, Christopher Howard, Blake Norman. 10 seconds. Samuel Disher, John Ashcraft, John Williams, Denton White, Caden Leonard, Ian Burns, Ethan Fike, Cooper Stewart, Blake Vale, Jonathan Figley, Josh Turner, Hudson Gotzi, DJ Malo, Chance Hickey, Douglas Bellis, Michael Worth, Colin Dunn, Noah Howard, and Mason Howard. And around that first turn, it is the 5-7-7 into turn 2 out front.
Jonathan Bigley III out of Struthers, Ohio on a B&R Motorsports, BZ and K Motorsports 100% backed ride. And that's going to wrap things up. As far as this afternoon start, we got about 2 hours of great racing action ahead. And anybody's race, Walker Fowler lead it out, but will someone step up and try to chink the armor again of the champ? Stick around to find out. GNCC Live continues after this.
Rocky Mountain ATV MC, retailer, distributor, manufacturer, product developer, parts tester. This is what we do. But who we are is something much simpler. We're riders, like you. 100% employee owned and operated, a company built by riders, entirely for riders. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
The directive: advance human performance beyond biological limitation.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Cometic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment, whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends. Professionals and enthusiasts depend on Cometic. Cometic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
And welcome back to a still shot on GNCC Live. Sorry about that, folks. You were looking at mile marker number 3, the FMF PowerPoint. And this is the Parts Unlimited Mason-Dixon GNCC here at the Matthews Family Farm in Mount Morris, PA. And if you missed the starts, it was ridiculous. It was wild. It was crazy. We're going to take a look at them right now. Take a look at our specialized start recap. The XC1 class, of course, the big news today, as most folks know at home, no Bryson Neal today. Bryson Neal had surgery. He's doing well. Is Bryson watching at home? I don't know. If you are, dude, hello. Thanks for watching. If not, I totally get it. Right now on screen, jockeying for position, it was Walker Fowler and Hunter Hart out front. And Hunter Hart on the white machine, snagging the holy and trying to check out in front of Walker Fowler. But this is where things got crazy. Cole Richardson in the mix, as well as a slew of other riders. And I believe at the bottom of your screen, forgive me, it's a little blurry on me, I think that is the 703 of Austin Abney there, the rookie in the mix. A little dazed as he got up from that one. Hopefully he's all right. Hopefully everybody's up and rolling. Start of the XC2, a class that runs deep. Rodney and I have talked about it all year. The points in this class do not do it justice. It doesn't tell the whole story, but one thing's for sure, that man out front, Ronnie Rush, has been riding on rails and starting to find his stride. And this young man, we're getting up into his neck of the woods now, and that is bad news if you're anybody else. Certainly a fantastic start. Little dusty on the start, but we'll let you guys know it's a little deceiving. The start is pretty dusty, but outside of that, it's pretty good track conditions for everybody today. We had some rain, I believe, Thursday night into a little bit on Friday morning. But overall, as you can see, some low spots. So sounds like Walker has, getting reports that Walker has moved around Hunter Hart into that number 1 position, and those two guys are trying to put a gap between them and the rest of the pack. That was certainly the case when they started this one. So again, tough break for Cole Richardson, the man coming into this one, who won the last 2 rounds here at the Mason-Dixon in 2020 and in 2019, was kind of, as you know, folks were talking, kind of a heavy favorite coming into today. And, of course, big news, as you probably heard already, Bryson Neal, of course, out this week and, well, for the foreseeable future for this season, which is a heartbreaker. Rodney, if you saw pre-race, there goes Johnny Gallagher on screen. If you listened to Rodney before the race started, he spoke with both Cole Richardson and Walker Fowler and kind of got their opinion on it, which was exactly what we expected, and I think you expect out of any professional athlete, professional rider at GNCC. Nobody's happy about Bryson not racing by any means. They want him out here. They want the best of the best out here competing every weekend. So it's a tough break for him and a tough break for the series as well. But, hey, the season goes on. Life goes on. And it's going to open up the window of opportunity for some guys to maybe showcase what they're capable of. So certainly saw that at a Hunter Hart. Hunter Hart coming off not probably his favorite finish in the John Penton, and looking for a little bit of redemption, looking to put that thing back up on the box and go after what would be his first win of the season. Of course, Hunter Hart's got a win. I believe that was Tanner Walker right there out of that XC2 class. So getting into some of our XC2 riders here at mile marker number 4. Again, that's a class, Ronnie Rush grabbed that whole shot, but that is a class, if you look at the points, you're like, well, hey, Ronnie Rush is in good shape. The points don't really tell the whole story of that XC2 class. It's stacked. I mean, you've got guys that are sitting 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th in points on the season that are perfectly capable of going out and snagging a win. The guy I keep thinking, Wyatt Wilkin, that keeps popping in my head. Just so good, and he's had some ups and downs, some tough breaks this season, but rest assured, if you're watching at home, that XC2 class, sport ATVs are in good hands. That's what I'm getting at. So this is the Mason-Dixon GNCC. You were looking at mile marker number 4 here on RacerTV.com. Last report we got, hopefully we can get the camera shot on him here soon, of Walker Fowler. Sounds like he has gotten around Hunter Hart into that number 1 position after the fast, quick start by Hunter Hart, pulling the whole shot and leading into the woods. Yeah, so speaking of Cole Richardson, we'll have a better idea where he's at out on the track here momentarily, see how he has recovered after that gnarly pileup there in turn number 1. But Cole Richardson, as we mentioned, the man, he has won the last 2 here at the Mason-Dixon GNCC, and he's coming off a podium finish at the Penton, so carrying some momentum and some confidence as we head into just really a couple hours from his hometown. We actually had a chance to catch up with Cole and talk to him about coming into today's race. My apologies on that, guys. That's on me. I thought we had an interview with Cole. It's not an interview. We got highlights from last year's Mason-Dixon. And if you were here, if you remember watching it on Racer TV, this one was dusty. I know that looked a lot like the start you guys just saw as far as the dust, but there's a dust that these guys had to deal with last year, and it was a gnarly one. Walker Fowler doing his Walker Fowler thing out front, but and there is a familiar, you can't miss that helmet. Bryson Neal, you can see that loamy dirt right there. Bryson Neal looking over the shoulder, checking his 6, and for good reason as the race rolled on. It was a dusty one. You can see in the woods right there. I don't think that's really necessarily something we're going to see today. Right there, that was Bryson Neal out in front, and Walker taking the long way around in that number 2 spot. And remember this, I forgot all about this. Walker Fowler, the seat was off, so a little extra things going on. Filter changes, filters. It was kind of the story of the day, if you will. Did not expect that on ATV day by any means. Walker absolutely ringing the thing out right there. Looking good, looking smooth. But the number 4 was the guy who ends up getting it done when it was all said and done. Coltrane doing work. Quick pan back. We got Walker Fowler right behind him. Dad said, heck yeah, let's go. Get that W. That's what Coltrane did, taking the checkered flag here at the Mason-Dixon GNCC. Cheers on the podium. So Cole Richardson, again, 2020, won this one, and convincingly at that. Hey, check that out. Method Race Wheels. That is a new sponsor here at the GNCC Racing Series. Right now at mile marker number 7, obviously waiting on those leaders. Method Race Wheels, if you guys are not familiar with them, if you're at home, I can't encourage you enough to check those guys out. Again, like I said, new sponsor here at the GNCC Racing Series, and have they got some amazing things available in their program. You can check them out, methodraceWheels.com/GNCC. Or if you're on social media, you can check them out by checking the hashtag MRWGNCC. Again, MRWGNCC. They are official sponsor of the GNCC Racing Series, and giving out some money in $500 increments. If you're here at the track, we got some little sticker packs down there, and they've got a little QR code on there. You can scan that QR code and get all the details on that. So, welcome to the GNCC Racing Nation Method Race Wheels. Like I said, if you're not familiar with those fine folks, certainly check them out and see what they can do to be involved in your own race program. So, waiting on the leaders to come in here. If you're just tuning in, Hunter Hart snagging the whole shot in the early lead. Not too far behind him was Walker Fowler, and radio chatter we've gotten since then is Walker has gotten around him into first place. But Hunter Hart still right there with him as they're moving along, and there's a bit of a gap between them and the rest of the pack. So we'll see who comes through here as our spectators chilling. You guys recognize these boys? I think I do. My screen's a little blurry. Yours at home might be a little better than mine. Zachary Davidson on the left, right? What's up? How's it going? I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's him. Well, while we wait on these guys, I tell you what, let's take a look at our track map today to give you an idea of what our riders are facing out there in the terrain here at the Mason-Dixon. So our Yamaha Racing track map giving you a little bit of everything here on the family farm, and we call it the Mason-Dixon. You run both sides of the state, and featured sections, obviously, as you're looking at your screen, the Method Race Wheels, Method Alley, and then, of course, the Monster Mile, as well as the FMF PowerPoint, all here, and boy, it's going to be a good one. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a gnarly track for these guys. Good race reports this morning. Tight racing, kind of giving you a recap in the WXC. The Hurricane Hannah Hunter turning it on, taking another win here today. Seems to be hitting her stride. She's, I believe, your new points leader now in the women's pro class. But at one point between 7th place and 1st, here come the leader. And there he is, Walker Fowler out in front. And Hunter Hart knocking on the door, though. Got him in the crosshairs. Keeping up with him. But at one point, the WXC class, and boy, yeah, that is a gap, to say the least. Those two guys trying to check out here early. So Cole, I was second-guessing myself. Cole Richardson is in that number 2 spot. So Cole's moving, maybe, or excuse me, number 3 spot. Sorry about that, Hunter. So Cole Richardson already into the number 3 position. That's the thing. I mean, the pile up early on, yeah, it sucks. It's bad. It's not how you want to start a race. But, hey, get the shakes out early, and you're ready to roll. So Coltrane already sitting in a podium position. Another guy I think to keep an eye on is Jared McClure. He talked about it on the podium a couple of weeks ago, how focused and ready he was coming into today. And there's Devin Feehan moving through right there. But Jared McClure talked about his focus after that last round. He said, man, I hadn't made a top 3 finish. I hadn't made a podium in so long. I was kind of rattled. I was sort of in my own head. Well, the monkey's off the back. He got the podium 2 weeks ago at the John Penton. And, we're getting up toward the northeast area where he's more used to riding. So it should turn into some better results for Jared McClure from his perspective. So we'll see what McClure has got in store for these guys today. But right now, boy, my hat is off to Cole Richardson, the man doing work out there, fighting to get up into the top 3 position. And there is the 703 of Austin Abney. First and foremost, glad he's okay. Glad he's off there and rolling. Certainly far back in the XC1, but after that wild pileup, good to see Austin Abney, the rookie, out there moving, turning and burning.
Mikey.
Yeah, Rodney.
Do you realize that there are $65,000 in cash and prizes that are available to GNCC racers? They will win that by the end of this season. And thanks to our friends at that Method Alley that you saw there just a few moments ago, Method Wheels, sponsor of that Method Alley area as we roll into the Monster Energy area of our racetrack. And looks like we still got a pretty tight-knit one there. Can't ever count out in these hills and these mountains close to West Virginia like this. Adam McGill out there making things happen. And there's John Glotta Jr. also out here at the 8-mile marker. But real quick, just to give you an idea, when you come to the races, they hand you some stickers and things, and they got a GNCC contingency program. 3 winners each race, $500 plus wheels for your ride. You get $500 and wheels for your ride, about an $1,800 package that 3 different individual riders will win each race. And then the year-end bonus, 1 winner will win $10,000. Enter each race, you get $10,000 plus wheels for your ride. So it's actually about $11,300 worth of stuff. So that's just amazing. So thanks to Method Wheels for bringing that to the GNCC Racing Nation. And I got to tell you, if you don't do it and you don't come away with it's your own fault because it's a great opportunity.
They're such a great company and new to GNCC, but they are not new by any means. They're huge.
It's kind of a social media program. They've got all the information. You click a QR code, you sign up, and you hashtag, and you do on social media, and then the next thing you know, we got 3 folks that have $1,800 apiece from the John Penton already, and we'll have 3 more from this weekend as we continue to watch things unfold here at this Monster Mile number 8 mile, if you will. And I saw Jared Bolton's post on the 8 mile. I like that in the storyline there. Out near the 9 mile marker now as we continue to roll through this one here at the Mason-Dixon line. And as you pointed out, Mikey Wayne's right on the line, north and south separated, and we go both north and south in technically in this particular juncture. Man, they are nose to tail going through this section. Adam McGill right there with them, and John Glotta is not far off the pace either. So we got a pretty good top 7-8 riders right now. That some pretty good battles and some things about to shake loose here as we are nearing the completion of the first lap of racing. We've been about 26 minutes now, and already, no major definitions as to who's going to be stepping up and making things tough for Walker Fowler. I know Walker, getting that whole shot out there earlier has got to bode well with him and get the steam rolling, that's for sure. Good to see Devin Feehan out there also, the 406. I know he hasn't necessarily had the results that he was looking for this year, but again, in a rebuilding process for himself here in the 2021 season, making the switch from the Honda to the Yamaha earlier in the year. So he's got a few changes. I see him talking with Johnny Gallagher a lot, trying to get things figured out as far as that Yamaha is concerned. Speaking of Yamahas, there's the WFR Yamaha of Walker Fowler making his way in now. And, with the rain showers coming in earlier in the week, middle of the week, and even up till about Friday morning, still kind of amazing that we do have a little bit of dust. But when you're talking the sunshine we've seen and the temperatures that we're looking at pushing 90 degrees here today, you can expect those field sections to dry out. However, the wood sections, I think, still have a good content of moisture, which should make for some good racing out there.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Rodney. Well, I think the luxury we had early on this season of our drone footage through the woods
It's gone.
It's still, I mean, it's still good footage, but, you know, we're looking at the heads of broccoli right now, essentially. So,
little trees.
We get to we'll look at the trees. That's okay, though. They'll pop out of here eventually. Hunter Hart, not too far off that pace of Walker. It was interesting, Rodney. We both spoke with Hunter. You spoke with Cole and Walker prior to the race and asking them their input on, you know, Bryson Neal not being here. The answer was obvious. I mean, nobody is going to say, "Oh, I'm stoked he's not here." Nobody wants to see that. Everybody knows, hey, that could be me. It sucks. There's no way around it. But the reality is it does open up some opportunities for some guys to maybe move up a position that they may not have gotten if Bryson Neal's out there in the lineup. So as a result, you get a lot of guys that are finishing 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th that I think are going to be very, very hungry today because they can seize that opportunity.
They see the next spot in line, so to speak, and they want to be that guy in the next spot as we check back in with leaders out here. And I got to say, I'm pretty pumped for Hunter Hart. Saw some great runs out of him in the early part of the season, and jokingly, I hunted him down yesterday in the pits, and I said, well, it's all on you, Hunter. It's up to you. It's up to Cole Richardson and anybody else that thinks they can make it happen. But, you know, I said, I don't want to put the pressure on you. I said, I'm not saying you got to win, Hunter, but go out and make a race out of it, would you? And he said, I'll try.
Well, he's doing that right now. He's doing very well. How many times have we seen this exact thing this year between Walker and Bryson?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, coming into this one, I know probably a lot of fans were thinking, well, this is going to be a blowaway. You know, Walker's going to be so far out front. But like we've noted, you look at this, I don't think that we're going to witness what, you know, some fans might be afraid of with Walker stretching things out so much differently. With Bryson not being here, he obviously is going to approach, and everybody else is going to approach the racing a little different. So the intensity level is still going to be there. And we're seeing it right now with Hunter Hart within feet, basically, of that rear grab bar of Walker Fowler as we wind our way into the pro pit area. I like this this fenced-in area that we've got. But, man, they're really getting the speeds laying down out here now, I'll tell you. And Walker Fowler able to distance and gap Hunter Hart just a little bit as we roll into the pro pits. I don't know that Walker even really much looked at what was going on there in that turn coming into the pro pits at his pits. He might have looked at a pit board, but he knows what's going on. He's got Hunter Hart on his tail, and he knows he cannot rest any whatsoever, or Hunter will be there ready to strike while the iron is hot. And, you know, we've been talking about it. When is the switch going to flip for Hunter Hart? I think we've been seeing that switch flipping in motion. We saw the great ride out of him at round 1. Obviously, at round 2 in Florida, when we saw him leading Walker Fowler on several occasions, we actually heard them talk about, you know, the mud hole situation and how Hunter was acting. I have to wonder here this late in the season with now Hunter in a points race for that second place position and things tightening up back there and still the hopes of a possibility of a championship. Will it work that way in situations now if they get in something like that? I don't know that Hunter would be so eager to let Walker go by now, especially if he feels like he's got the speed to stay in front of him.
I think Hunter Hart is such a good example for our young youth riders coming up through the ranks that, hey, I want to be in the XC1 one day. I think Hunter Hart is a perfect example of what it takes to succeed, because you think about him being a rookie back in, I believe 2018 would have been his rookie season in the XC1, and he kind of falls out of the conversation, but that doesn't change who Hunter Hart is. No. He's always been that same person with that same drive and focus, and you see it so often where riders, they get that love and that admiration from, you know, finishing in the top 3, getting the love on the podium, all the social media attention, and it kind of goes away when you don't have that success right away as a pro. Hunter Hart has stuck to his guns, and right here we're seeing what happens when you're true to yourself and true to your program.
2.4 seconds separating the pack of Walker Fowler and Hunter Hart. Another 15.3 back to the snake as Jared McClure holds on the fourth place position. Cole Richardson less than a second off his pace, and Adam McGill another 1 second. So that's that really tight race. That's the battle for third that we're watching with McClure, Richardson, and McGill. We saw those guys out in the woods here on this first lap of racing. So there's this battle going on for the first place position. 15 seconds back. There's a 3-man shootout going on for the final podium position right now. And we're barely 30 minutes into this race, actually 32 minutes into this race now. And yeah, the stage is set for another great hour and a half of really extreme competition here in this XC1 Pro class. And I know things are heating up in XC2 Pro-Am, which we'll touch on that here in just a few moments as well. Devin Feehan checking in the number 6 spot. He's about 37 seconds back right now.
There's Abney in the pits.
Yeah.
I got to wonder if he's not hurt. He seemed getting up real slow. Almost looked, at a moment, for a second there, looked a little lethargic out there, and it might just be that Dad's talking to him right now saying, is this something you want to go out and do? You want to...
Well, you know, I think that leveler heads will prevail there. I just seen him take the goggles off. I seen the look on his eyes and on his face there. Probably it would be better to just go ahead and sit this one out. It's your rookie year. You don't want to lose those points, you know, and especially when you're running for top overall 20 numbers and stuff like that, you know, for the next season. But you got to think about the longevity, the reality of it all. Is it really worth it? No, especially right now for Austin Abney. I think personally, if seeing what I just saw right there, it might be best if he did go ahead and sit out. But hey, you never know. I can't make that call. I don't know how he's really feeling.
Yeah, but I mean, Austin, I don't think, as far to this point, I don't think he's got anything to hang his head about. I mean, he's had a pretty good rookie season.
Yeah.
And what there at the Hoosier GNCC, we saw him battling. We saw what he's capable of with some more experience.
Yeah.
You know, he was battling up front with those top 3, and I think that's where Abney can move to. And sounds like getting reports there from the pits. Maybe Boric had, I don't know, probably hammering out maybe the front guard, something. That pileup was pretty gnarly, but he is okay, and he's back out rolling.
So that's good news for Chris. You know, I was talking with a few folks, and even Walker, I think, mentioned it during the pre-race interview we did with him there, talking about Chris Borch finding, it seemed like, the secret to that Suzuki once again, and finding those speeds. Here comes that battle for third back there. We just watched the
that is tight
battle for first and second, and this is I think for third and fourth now. We've lost our 5th place ride of McGill. He's not far off the pace though. I mean, he's not that second or so back, but he's a couple of seconds back, and he's got his sights set right on them as we see that white helmet of Adam McGill. I believe that was him still in 5th, disappearing into the trees from our Yamaha live drone shot. As we check in next at the 3-mile marker, Mikey Wayne's, this FMF PowerPoint, and look at this. I mean, the trail, you can tell that there's moisture in the ground. The ground is packed, and it's packing differently out here. It's not muddy. There is still some tack in that soil, but also it's at that point where it's still dry enough with those rocks, especially in there. It's getting to be kind of hard packed, and there's probably some slick spots out there, if truth be known, especially on these hill climbs. You get that kind of greasy-ish clay on those rocks. It could get a little bit slick, but hey, as we can see, man, things are drying up nicely. We had some pretty good showers. I know we got some good showers over in Ohio. Those showers came straight over here to southwestern Pennsylvania, and gave, honestly, what this soil was needing was a fresh drink of water, because things around here have been pretty dry lately.
We looked at highlights when the show started of last year.
Yeah.
And there are, you guys have seen it today, there are definitely some dusty spots.
And I can't remember if the first round or I think it was the second round where we had so many issues with the actually riders just dropping out because of the air filters.
That was it, and I couldn't remember which round was which, because 2020, I think everybody can agree, just kind of is a mulligan. Everything blends together. But yeah, that was, and we had some highlights there, guys pulling off the seats, looking at filters, and it's something that you don't really talk about much for ATVs by any means.
No, but those were some extreme conditions, and fortunately I don't think we've seen quite that extreme conditions, although we have had a couple of not as moist days as we would have liked, you know, but hey, we've had great racing all year long. In the big picture of things, we've had perfect weather. I mean, really, when you think about it, I can't remember any really rain out mud races or anything this year so far. Great turnouts at every event so far. Great attitudes and response to the race from the race fans and the racers alike. And it looks like our leaders are on the way here at the 3-mile marker. We should be seeing Walker Fowler into view here at the FMF PowerPoint right now. There he is. And here comes right behind him his shadow in that number 2 position, Hunter Hart. And man, I tell you, the momentum.
Also say, it seemed like everybody I talked to from this morning's AM race was, I went to make a pass in the woods and I got stuck between 2 trees. I mean, that just seemed to be the common theme with everybody. I went to make a pass, I got stuck between 2 trees. But with that said, you got to risk it sometimes.
Yeah.
So certainly opportunity is there.
Fowler, Hunter Hart, Jerry McClure, Cole Richardson in that 4th place position, Adam McGill in the number 5 spot. We did have that intense 3-way battle for 3rd place position. I think that Adam is still into that one, but McClure and Richardson, I think, are the ones that are really nice. Adam might be just kind of hanging back just to see what happens between those guys right now.
Looking for an opportunity. Devin Feehan right there.
Yeah, Feehan checking through. He was your 6th place ride. We should be seeing Wesley Wolf come through about 20 seconds from now. Greg Cover and Josh. And look at this. The difference behind for Kowalewski and Owens, it wasn't measurable. 0.000. 0.000.000. So
let's go.
It couldn't be measured in thousandths of seconds, so it was in tens of thousands of seconds, or maybe even millions of seconds. Who knows? They were close. Let's just put it that way. So we got a good battle going on in the XC2 Pro-Am class. Kowalewski does have credit for the lead right now. Brandon Owens in 2nd in that class. They are 8th and 9th overall. Here's something. Wyatt Wilkin back in the number 3 spot. He is 8 seconds off the pace. He is also 11th overall. And how about this for Jay Shadron? He's up to 14th place overall already after lap number 1 out of that Junior A 22 plus class.
Rolling. And looking at the top guys in that XC2 class, Rodney, speaks to what you and I have preached till we're blue in the face this year. If you look at the point standings in the XC2 class, it doesn't tell the story.
No.
It really doesn't. There's some guys out there who have had some hiccups, some bad rounds. That talent in that class is pretty daggone deep, and I think you're seeing it right now.
No doubt about that. As we roll through mile 3, where our leaders are headed toward mile 4 and 5 and getting things taken care of out there. But we may get a witness of what's going on in that XC2 class here with our leaders checking in here shortly. We'll be looking for the 447 and the 246 of Kowalewski and Owens. And if there's Johnny Gallagher checking in, it shouldn't be too much longer now. Gallagher, I'm not sure where Johnny checked in 16th overall. I think that puts him in about the 10th or 11th place overall, or excuse me, in class right now.
Johnny and I, we've got this running joke now where Becca Sheets came and did some radio work with me for the Hoosier GNCC, some local radio station work, and I had cut a commercial advertising for the Hoosier GNCC, and I talked about how the biggest pros in off-road racing will come to battle for points. So we have this running joke now that, you know, Becca says, well, the only reason to race, Mikey, I guess, is points. So Becca and Johnny rolled by today to bike the track, and he said, we're going to go out there and see where we can find some points. So,
they're out there.
It's important to have fun too, but yeah. I had to hype up that commercial. Come on now.
Racing for points. But hey, you know, there's got to be some kind of carrot to dangle for these guys.
That's right.
Whether it be for points for the race win or for the lap lead, you've got to set your milestones in some way, shape, or form.
So, Rodney, looking at the 2020 results here, which was technically the Mason-Dixon, which was round 11. So that would have been, obviously, at the end of the season. It was Cole Richardson, Walker Fowler, and McGill. So, McGill, my apologies, man. I'd completely forgotten he finished in the top 3 at the end of the season last year. So we'll keep our eyes on McGill. Hunter Hart finished 4th, and Borich rounded out the top 5. And then if you go back to round 6, what I think we called the high point at this location, it was Richardson, Fowler, and Neal, then McClure and Borich. So there was your top 5 the last 2 times here.
Wow. Interesting, no doubt. And, you know, that you think coming into this, these guys have got that sense of confidence. But, the beauty of GNCC, every race day we go to, the racetrack is different. The conditions are different. And the competition rises with a different mentality. As look at this, Hunter Hart comes out today with a mission statement, I think, that he wants to prove out here that, hey, I'm here. I'm here. I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to be the guy that's going to be pushing next. And that's exactly what he's doing. You see him right on that rear grab bar of Walker Fowler. Can Walker click it up a little bit? I'm sure he can. Can Hunter click it up a little bit? I'm sure he can.
Yeah.
Still early in the race, and that's the reason I think that duel and that shootout is going to get pretty good. That last probably lap and a half or so between. If Hunter can stick to Walker's rear grab bar like that, it's going to make things exciting when we get down to the checkers.
It's in talking to Hunter, I wasn't going to bring this up earlier, but I'll bring it up anyways. There's this level of maturity in Hunter. He talked about, I didn't run a local last week because he didn't say it like he didn't want to hear it. But he said, I didn't want to hear the birds chirping in my ear, the fans telling me, you're the guy now, you're the guy. Bryson's out, it's going to be you, it's going to be you. He said, I wanted to keep my focus on GNCC and not get like a false arrogance about myself from listening to what people were telling me. Not saying that if you're a Hunter Hart fan, you shouldn't be telling him those things. Absolutely, hype the man up. But I think that shows a level of maturity in Hunter Hart of like, I want my focus to be on GNCC. Right. I gotta put the blinders on. I just need to go out there and I need to ride my race and not worry about anything else.
And sometimes, when you're in a situation, say as Hunter is, he's on that cusp, if you will, getting ready to make that big break. And you're right, he needs to stay away from all the influences that he can, negative, positive, whatever they may be, because he just needs to focus on what he's got going on, what's working for him, and not entertain any more ideas or anything like that. So good move on his part, I believe, and it seems to be paying off for him, at least here in the early part of the race. I mean, we're a lap and a half into this one nearly, and Hunter Hart has been running within 4 to 5 seconds, 3 seconds, so to speak, less than 3 seconds for the biggest part of that first lap of racing, and now the second lap of racing.
It's also kind of that two-edged sword. I mean, if you go out there and everybody's hyping you up, you're the man, and you go out there and you don't finish where you think you should or where the fans think you should, now it's like, oh, I've let myself down, I've let everybody down. Whereas if you just go out and you do it. That's what Hunter Hart's doing right now.
Yeah, exactly. And, like I said, whenever I talked to him on yesterday, I wasn't trying to put pressure on him anyway, but I was trying to take the pressure off, but let him know, hey, we expected something.
give Rodney and I something to talk about.
There you go. Was that the number 5? Was that Chris Borch going, or no? Yeah, that might have been Borch buried back in some of these XC2 Pro-Am riders that we're seeing going through. Kyle Lusky, Brandon Owens, as we told you, they could not basically separate the difference on those two riders when they came through the finish line. That's how close they were. Wyatt Wilkin is running 3rd, Tanner Walker in 4th, Dylan Walraven rounding out the top 5 in XC2 Pro-Am. As far as the front of this pack in the overall right now in XC1 Pro Class Racing, Walker Fowler continuing to lead Hunter Hart in that 3-way shootout for the final podium position. Wages on as well. How will this one all pan out? Can Hunter Hart pull one out here at the Mason-Dixon? Stick around to find out. GNCC Live continues after this.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. We changed the industry by formulating the first API-qualified 100% synthetic motor oil. The rest of the market has been trying to follow our lead ever since. But a head start is a head start. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond. Because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
Last season was my best season ever by far. I won a lot of races. I won a championship, and it was also my first year using ARMA. And one of the things I noticed was just my ability to string good days together. You know, like especially in the summertime in Florida where you're riding every day and the heat index is 108 degrees and you're doing 230s and going to the gym and bicycle and all that stuff. I think in the past I've been super inconsistent day to day. Yeah, I may have a good race here or a good day during the week there, but overall I think where I improved the most was my consistency in my recovery.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. With over 40 years of experience in motorcycle sales and service, we know racing. Our inventory of Yamaha motorcycles, sport bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides is extensive and constantly changing. Stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and visit our online inventory at www.lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs. It's why we ride.
This week in Yamaha history takes us back to the 2007 Somerset GNCC, and of course the Geico Mountain Ridge GNCC, where David Knight was one of the top stars of the day, as well as riders like Jimmy Jarrett for Suzuki, Garrett Edmonston on his Kawasaki, Josh Strang on a Suzuki, Glenn Kearney, Paul Whibley, Jesse Robinson, Robbie Jinks, Jason Raines, D.R. Atwood, and so many more. On this day, though, what an amazing fight and battle we had. David Knight getting out to the early lead in this one, and of course seeming to dominate nearly the first, 5-6 laps of the race, and of course seemed to have things in the bag as they rolled through the race. In the meantime, Barry Hawk back in the number 2 position. Well, he got a gimme on the final lap of racing, going through the pits, not even realizing that David Knight was in the lead, had a lead for a minute, but had some radiator issues, and then went and Barry Hawk got by, and when he got by, of course, he got in the lead. Didn't even realize he was in the lead until 3 miles from the finish when his team told him to go, go, go. Well, on his way out there, of course, he was able to make that history. And believe it or not, the very final win that Barry Hawk posted in GNCC racing was on this day in 2007 at the Somerset GNCC, the Mountain Ridge GNCC. And of course, with that, making history once again in GNCC racing. And that's this week in Yamaha history. Mikey, I tell you, what an amazing race day that was that day. And reflecting back on that Mountain Ridge GNCC, I remember it oh so well. David Knight having some radiator issues. He pulls into the pits. They tried to change the little white mile marker. He wouldn't let him do it. He shoved it up, tried to tighten the with a hose clamp, and he went on trying to catch up with Barry Hawk. In the meantime, just bike all the way to the finish.
Wowzers.
Yeah, so
that's tough. That's GNCC tough right there.
That is. And Barry Hawk, I had a chance to talk with him about this yesterday. He said, yeah, that was my last win. And, he told me the whole story, and I relived it. And I was like, man, that's right. That's how it all is. It's so cool. And especially to hear those stories coming from greats like Barry Hawk. Yeah, for sure, no doubt about that. And speaking of Barry Honk, obviously a big ATV guy.
Yeah.
Speaking of big ATV, we got the true pioneers here. Our first GNCC champion, Teddy Trey, and then
nice.
Tommy Tokay are both here, the first and second champions of GNCC. The 84, 85, 86, and 87 champs, I guess, is what they were. So pretty cool to have them here in our ranks. They got a homecoming here planned for this evening with a bunch of the old school riders that are going to be taking place here.
That is fantastic.
All right, back here with what's going on right now. Again, Walker Fowler, the man in command here, but as we get a little further back in the pack, we're starting to see things are starting. Ooh, mercy, that's Devin Feehan.
Yes, Devin Feehan down. He's okay. A little squirrely. Got some help on the way.
And, these are oftentimes things that we don't necessarily get a chance to see. Just happen to be in shot of the camera. But, oftentimes we wonder what happened out there on the trail. How did they get so tight? How did they get so separated? It's little things like that as we take a look at that in our rapid replay. And he just got a little sideways, a little, I guess, out of balance coming over that jump. And I'm sure it was the way the jump kicked him coming out of there. Just kind of rolled over, back on it. Had to restrap the kill switch there, and he's off and rolling. So it's up right there for him. Got that adrenaline flowing, though. Maybe he can bridge that gap now.
For sure.
All righty, we are. All right, Walker and Hunter have already gone through. There's the number 4 machine of McClure. Cole Richardson back there in that number 4 spot. As we have lost. There he is. There is the 521 of the Gator, Adam McGill. And you can see we're getting deep down into that terrain, the terra firma, if you will. We're starting to see those roots start to show. When you see that, Mikey, this is fresh terrain that we're racing on, and that's the beauty. I mean, I think we kind of started racing here in 2018. Now, earlier, back before 2010s, we ran some races here at the Matthews Farms GNCC in the early 2000s, but we hadn't been here for a long time. So when we come back, this is virtually virgin terrain.
Yeah.
And only being here since 2018, there's still a lot of area of this facility and this property that hasn't been ran. So you see those roots being exposed like that. That's new trail out there.
Oh, yeah. These guys probably loving it.
Oh, yeah. For sure. That gives them, it's fresh dirt, new opportunities, and just a lot of great things about that.
I'm going to guess this is Walker Fowler and not a replay. Okay. That was just kidding. Just kidding. XC2 coming through. All good. I know we did miss when they were coming through earlier. If you saw Jared McClure coming through, we did miss that guy right there, Walker Fowler and Hunter Hart coming through in front of him.
Walker, Hunter's still right there.
Yeah, still within sights.
And we're waiting right now. I tell you, sorry about my fan if you're hearing some wind blowing. I got a fan blowing on me. All right. I'm trying to make it happen. Yeah. All right, so still out here at the Monster Mile. Apologize for the wind noise. Hopefully we can still keep the breeze blowing and keep that away. Here's we're now two-way shootout. Cole Richardson, I'm going to tell you this right now. Cole Richardson doesn't appear to be in any sense of urgency. And I'm not saying that he's settling for 4th, and he's not even, I don't think, going to settle for 3rd right now. I have to wonder if right now if he's just kind of biding his time and searching and seeing where time can be made up out here, because these next couple of laps that are going to be coming up here soon, I think are going to be a totally different look to what we got going on for the Cole Train himself. I mean, it's going to start playing and weighing in the back of his mind as well that, you've got the 2 wins here. You've got, I think, 3 total wins, if I'm not mistaken, here at this property and this facility since 2018. So I'm sure that, he's going to start talking it up in his own mind, and he's going to realize it's time to get off the pot and start making things happen.
Well, there he is. Whew, I got a little nervous. Walker Fowler, man, the guy finds some speed in these big open sections. We'll see if Hunter Hart can reel him in here when they get back into the woods. But wow, does Walker finds another gear.
I just seen the senior A class go through there just a few moments ago. I want to give a shout out to the Rich boys, Kenny Rich Sr. and Kenny Rich Jr. Kenny Rich Jr. races the 40-plus class in the afternoon. He's well over 40, into his mid-40s or so. His father, 64 years old, one of, if not the oldest rider in the Masters 60-plus class this morning in the race. A father and son duo,
That's
Kenny Rich
awesome.
Sr. and Jr. still coming to the races together after all these years. I love it, man.
That is very cool.
Yeah. That's what GNCC racing is all about. I mean, we talk about the family atmosphere of it all. I mean, Jay Shadron, who's leading the Junior A 22-plus class, his sister, who actually I think won a youth overall at one time, if I'm not mistaken. She come close, if not. And with Jay and her mom raced, and also their dad, they were all four coming to the racetrack, all four racing in one day. Talk about family.
That's a busy weekend.
That is a busy weekend.
Somebody always going. And it's still so common. I mean, we see riders racing the micro, and then they say, well, I got to go because the big brother's racing in the youth, and then it's, well, I got to go because mom or dad's racing in the AM. And yeah, it's good to see. It's definitely family atmosphere, to say the least. Walker Fowler on screen, moving, trying to kick up as much dust as possible. Make sure that Walker Fowler's sponsor, goggle sponsor, earning their money today. Pop back into the woods right here. So Walker Fowler got a little bit of a gap on Hunter Hart right now, but by all means, Hunter Hart's been able to reel him back in when they head back into the woods here.
Hey, E-Pee-Wee racers, if you're here and you're going to be racing E-Pee-Wee racing tonight around 6:30, racers need to get a bib at the KTM support rig before the race tonight on Vendors Row. So E-Pee-Wee racers, get a bib at the KTM support rig before the race tonight on Vendor Row. So I'll be heading on over there pretty soon to get one of those. I know they come close to running out. I think last time, if I'm not mistaken, well over 100 kids in that EP.
They were pretty daggone popular, that was for sure.
Yeah, and like I say, we don't keep score, we don't count. There's no winners, there's no losers, but let me tell you, they race like they know what.
I was going to say, tell that to some of those kids.
And again, we're minus Crew Russell, which is Caleb Russell's son, is one of the who was one of the top Pee-Wee racers, and also is one of the micro racers now. They're down in Gainesville, Florida, Gatorback Cycle Park for a area qualifier because they're trying to get Crew into the Loretta Lynn's Amateur National. Into the VP Fuels Pro Row now as we take a pit stop here, and Walker Fowler in, simply water, filled up with fuel, new set of goggles, no sense of urgency. I mean, that pit stop was probably one of the most laid-back pit stops so far of 2021, in all honesty. No rush. And not saying that he's not worried about Hunter, but, it seems like he's very calculated right now. Walker's extremely calculated with what's going on in this race.
That's something we've seen out of Walker Fowler these last couple of seasons, Rodney, is, there was a point, and I'm not saying he doesn't still maybe have that goal in the future of Walker felt like he could go out and he could win 13 rounds out of 13 in a season. As he's gotten older, gotten more mature, the wins are still clicking off. But if you talk to him, that focus has changed up a little bit to where, hey, I don't necessarily have to win every single race, but I do want to make sure I'm finishing in front of the people that I need to finish in front of and manage the season. And right now, I mean, he's in a really good spot to where does he need to win? No. Does he want to win? Absolutely. If it's there, he's going to do it.
Well, I don't know if we had an exchange in positions there in that pit stop amongst third, fourth, and fifth. I know that we saw Jerry McClure and we also saw Adam McGill, and one rider that we didn't see in there was Cole Richardson. Of course, his pits located a little further away from both those riders. Not sure if he pitted, whether he got out ahead of those guys or what. But we may have a little different look to that 3, 4, and 5 positions. There is the 2-lap board. Is Walker Fowler? Where is Walker Fowler? Hunter Hart is in. No Walker Fowler. There's Walker Fowler in second place. There was some kind of an exchange of leads out here. Walker Fowler running into some problem. And, we saw Devin Feehan do that just a moment ago. Did something like that happen to Walker Fowler? But that gap has opened up quite a lot. And Hunter Hart, your new leader out here now, 30 minutes, .55 is the lap time for Hunter Hart. Walker Fowler checks in nearly 21 seconds back. at 30 minutes and 23 seconds, call it 30-24, so about a 23-24 second slower lap time that time around than what Hunter Hart was turning as opposed to lap number 1. So Hart was able to make up some time out there. Fowler drops to second, and we're still sitting here wondering what happened.
I'm telling you what, Rodney, we got to start cutting the tops off these trees. That's all there is to it, man. I want to see what happened. You got to assume it's something that happened when they went back into that wood section when they peeked out of sight. Walker doesn't seem to be, he seems to be fine from the sky view from the Yamaha Racing Camp. Looks like the machine is okay. We'll see, though. We know, Walker's had some issues this year with the ATV and not being able to turn it the way he wants to by any means.
And there's a lot of experimentation. They've been going back and trying some different setups and things of that nature. So, there's a lot of variables that could be coming into play here on this race day today.
Well, big for Hunter Hart. Now, we talked about his maturity level, Rodney. This is that opportunity for him to display that right now. You got the lead. You got the lead. He has to know he got around Walker Fowler. It's go time. We were an hour into this. If you're Hunter Hart, you got to be thinking, I just got my pit. This is my race now. I got to make this happen.
Yeah, and you think, with the inexperience of wins, he does have one win to his credit that he got there at the Ironman his rookie season. So with the inexperience of wins, you might say there's probably some immaturity. You might say that this is a circumstance where Hunter might start to fall apart, might get inside his own head. The one thing that we got to back up and remember is Hunter Hart may not be winning a lot of the GNCC races against these guys, but he races a lot of these same guys on off weekends at various different regional and local events that take place throughout the eastern United States. He beats them on some of those days, races heads up. So it's not a matter of him not knowing that he can't beat them. It's a matter of being able to figure out how to actually win at a GNCC. And one thing that Hunter has been able to do as he progressed through the ranks rather quickly, as from the youth ranks to the amateur ranks, is that he did figure out how to win. And I don't think it's a fact that Hunter doesn't know how to win. I think he knows exactly how to do it. It's just being able to be in position to apply it. And finally, he's into that position right now. I don't think we're going to see him lose it because of nerves. I don't think we're going to see any silly mistakes out of him, unless maybe the pressure gets a little intense from Walker. But I honestly have a lot of confidence in Hunter Hart that even though he's still a young pro, I think he's got the maturity level to be able to handle this pressure.
The one guy you don't want behind you tracking you down with the lasso is Walker Fowler. But you're right, Rodney. In today's track, I think kind of plays to the person whoever's out front. If they can ride their own race, keep it on 4 wheels or at times 2 wheels. But
and that's what we've seen in years past here.
It's such a long lap. They're running just right at 30 minutes for Walker and the front of that machine has been up bad.
Oh man, Borch is in.
But he's rolling.
Yep.
But I think it plays an advantage for Hunter Hart. That was one of the things that everybody has been talking about, which is good for the sport of how much it's grown. Means a lot more lap traffic. Well, today the laps are so long.
Yeah.
We're an hour into this, and we haven't brought up lap traffic a single time. And the folks at home are like, finally, Rodney, you're talking about something else other than lap traffic.
Yeah.
But it's not reality.
It's not that we don't have nearly 200 riders on here.
Right.
It's not that the numbers are bigger again today than they have been in years past. I can remember times at this juncture in the series championship, 120, 130 afternoon riders in the ATV race was a big one. We were at 184 when I got my paperwork. They were still signing them up, so we're somewhere near 200 riders, if I'm not mistaken, in today's race. So, the numbers are out there. But like you said, Mikey, this is a little bit longer track. So it is creating that gap and that space that these riders aren't catching up to the lap riders yet.
I was going to say yet. Yeah, there's still a little less than an hour left. But that's how many times have we talked this year?
Yeah.
Bryson, and then they're coming into lap traffic, and we say that, and that guy's going to be a lap rider here soon. But it's played such a factor this season, and right now, here Hunter Hart's got the opportunity with a lot of open track in front of him. He can hit his marks, he can hit those lines, find the speed where he knows it's laid out for him, and really make something happen here today.
Two lap board is out, by the way. I just want to point out, I'm sorry, Mikey, but Jay Shadron is 11th place overall for the Junior A22 Plus class right now. He is 11th place overall. And just to put that into perspective right now, our XC2 Pro-Am class, Brandon Owens, 8th place overall, leading that one now, as he has gotten around and established the lead, it looks like, over that second place rider. Now let's look back to XC2 Pro-Am. Actually, Jay Shadron is 11th overall. Wyatt Wilkin, who has now moved into the second place position of XC2 Pro-Am, is 12th place overall. So Shadron is ahead of second place in Pro-Am racing right now.
Wowzers. Leader into the FMF PowerPoint goes Hunter Hart. And no signs of Walker Fowler. Ryan Amancio, you're counting, aren't you? You're counting, brother. Okay. He's on, Johnny on the spot.
Our human stopwatch. Tick, 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 tick,
and
tick.
There's Walker Fowler coming through right here. Rider over on the side. I don't know who that is, but that would 100% be me. I'm going to chill here in the shade. I'm going to watch some pro racers. 19, okay.
All right, and our producer's telling us 20, so we're right there in that 18 to 20 second deficit between the first and second place rides. That's about 10 seconds that has been shaved off of that lead that Hunter Hart was able to establish after whatever happened out there in that wood section. And you know, and I have to hand it to Hunter, you know, at this point, and this I think is as good a proof as anything. I mean, you could put yourself in this position and you could go into a scared rabbit mode.
Sure.
And just run it, you know, balls to the wall, so to speak, as hard as you can go.
Yeah.
And you know, and let's just liken it to maybe like what the way Bryson Neal rides.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
and Bryson has learned how to be a lot more controlling over this. But you know, the one thing that I don't think I've ever seen out of Hunter Hart, even in senses of urgency, I've never seen him go to that point where he starts risking his machine.
Yeah, I think Hunter Hart has the heart of a hummingbird, because he's always kind of got that that vibration to him of go go go. I did notice, Rodney, it looked like McClure had gotten around Cole Richardson there, so not sure if that was kind of happened in the pits
and
or maybe in the
that
woods.
Was the big question that I had right there, because we didn't see Cole actually pitting in a little different area than what the rest. So I seen both those guys get out ahead of him. I didn't see if he'd gotten around or if he'd fallen back, but it looks like that he only lost one position in that pit stop. So that's good news for Cole Richardson, as Adam McGill's still back there in that number 5 spot.
So these guys are moving, man. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I know.
I mean, it's setting up. We've been saying it. There's Mama.
Yep.
She's like, please, not now, not now, not now. She's got to be excited, though. I know she is. I know she is.
Well, I tell you, you know, they've worked hard for this day. Mom, Dad, Hunter. I mean,
without a doubt.
They planned for this since this. I remember, and you've probably heard me, and you're probably sick of hearing this, but I remember when we were at the Mammoth GNCC, Hunter had a broken leg in the youth races and a cast all the way up to nearly his thigh. His father would carry him around the entire racetrack and walk the track before the race
his dad's
days.
a big dude, too.
Yeah.
He could handle it.
And would carry Hunter around the racetrack, and then Hunter, with a broken leg and cast on, would race the race and still either come close to winning, if not winning the event. I mean, that family's dedicated, there's no doubt. And they are that Ithaca Recreation Power Sports that we talk about up there in Ithaca, New York. I mean, they support and help a lot of riders up in the New York area and through Nioa and things like that. So really good race family, really out of a really good race shop, and they have basically honed Hunter to be possibly and likely a champion of this series someday.
If you look at Hunter, you're thinking the dude's a string bean. He wasn't always that way. And he said when you have to read his Tuesday toolbox that we did a while back, but he talked about, his mom said, well, we can either race for fun, or if you want to be serious about it and like race for championships, we can do that. Either one you choose, I'm fine with it. But if you're going to race for championships, we got to get in shape. So she started making them run from like the mailbox, and they got a very long driveway, up to the house, like when they leave somewhere or be getting home. And I said, Hunter, I need Mom to come to my house and make me do the same thing. Maybe get me back in shape.
Sounds like you could. Maybe she'll just start calling you up every morning.
All right, time to go get the mail, Mikey.
Run.
Haul it.
Sprint, Mikey.
That's
Sprint.
right.
Get that heart rate up. Back out of the FMF PowerPoint, a little over an hour. Actually, we're approaching the hour and 15-minute mark, hour 11 minutes. So, I mean, about halfway through lap number 3, pushing halfway through lap number 3 of what is going to be, looks like a 4-lap race. As we said, we have the 2-lap board coming into this one out of that second lap. We were just so astonished. I mean, we saw Hunter Hart coming in there by himself, not knowing where is Walker Fowler, but we had the new leader, and here we sit and still not knowing what necessarily happened, and still wondering, will Walker be able to bridge the gap and put the pressure on? We see that 10 seconds of that gap has been bridged.
And, you know, looking at Walker's machine, even when we got the close-up here at the FMF PowerPoint, it looked to be in good condition. But as you know, we talked to the guys after the race, and they're like, oh, it was completely ruined and didn't ride right since. So, I mean, if something like that has happened, we still have, you know, a little more than 45 minutes left in this one. Does Nat now, is there blood in the water? You know, Cole Richardson, can he jump up into the number 2 spot? Jared McClure, same thing. Those guys are back there not too far behind him.
You know, I have to tip my hat, and I have to salute Chris Board, 6-time GNCC champion, 75-time race winner. The reason I say that is after the problems here today, you look at that quad, you know, he's probably we're getting this gap closed back down from what I understand. But basically what I'm saying is, you know, he's a rider that at this point, if he pulled off the racetrack, probably a lot of people wouldn't think a whole lot about it, but he's out there, he's still pushing. So actually the gap is closing up. We're down less than 20 seconds now, it appears.
I'll call it. You think 11? I was going to say 10. We'll split the difference.
So 10 and a half seconds. So we got reports of 7, so we're right around the 10-second mark here at the 4-mile marker. So in reality, Walker has, and not surprisingly, made up a whole lot of time to bridge that gap in between first and second place position. Here comes that battle for third now. There is McClure still in the number 3 spot. There is Richardson still in that 4th place position. The gap between still, that hasn't changed up to the 2nd place position. We're still right around that 15-second mark, but guess what? You know, this was what this catches my eye. They weren't really far behind Walker Fowler. That's 16 seconds. I mean, they're still pretty close. And with Hunter bridging the gap, or excuse me, with Walker bridging the gap on Hunter, that means that these guys are bridging the gap on Hunter also. So all of a sudden, Mikey, we're looking at something. If another thing happens and that 15 seconds gets bridged, will we have a 4-way shootout for the win? I mean, it's highly likely. It's possible.
We had it this morning in the WXC. I mean, going into the last lap, there was literally, I think, 20 seconds between 7th place and 1st place. And I thought, man, maybe this is kind of a prelude to what we'll see this afternoon. So, hey, it's very possible, and I want it. Let's go.
Well, Hunter is the rabbit. He's getting chased. Walker Fowler is back there trying to make it happen. Cole Richardson and Jared McClure are closing up as well. Will we see a 4-man shootout? Will Hunter Hart hang on to this one for the win? Can Walker Fowler pull it out and put another feather in his cap? Stick around to find out. GNCC Live continues from the Mason-Dixon line right after this.
How's everybody? Morning. Doing good. Good to see y'all. Good to see you. I'm tough as she can. Well, you got a bird too? The beauty is breathtaking. The exposure of West Virginia to the world is absolutely significant. I mean, this is truly an amazing, amazing place. Today, you're going to hear different people talk about an event that is coming here, and it is absolutely, I mean, commingled, I guess, with, you know, with what our great DNR director is doing here as well.
So September 9, 10, 11, and 12, the summit is joining with our friends at West Virginia DNR, GNCC Racing. A lot of other folks are going to be here as well to celebrate a few things. We're going to celebrate motorsports and having world-class athletes racing through our trails. We're going to have the DNR Fish and Game Show as well, and the summit is bringing some of our vendors in. Our headliner is going to be adventure. So we want families, friends, supporters of the summit to come out, see the latest and greatest new gear, try the new shotguns, ride the new motorcycles. And we're going to end the weekend on September 11th with a tribute to those folks that have been protecting us for 20 years. September 11th is going to be 20 years after the tragedy of 9/11. We think, as the Boy Scouts and this team up here, we owe it a big debt of gratitude to our first responders, military families, Gold Star members. We're working with an act right now that's going to make it a special concert for them and really kind of end on a patriotic note and hopefully move forward, getting people in the outdoors and sharing in our enthusiasm.
Like the governor, we think this is the best place on earth. And we get to go to a lot of places around these United States and around the world. And there's no better venue than what we have here at the summit. West Virginia is the epicenter of GNCC racing that spans across the United States. Just this last weekend, we had over 2,100 unique athletes and 1,000 different families that were there camping with us in Indiana. And that same group of people are coming to the summit. We are a proud group of people that are patriotic. We play and sing the national anthem 8 times a weekend. And every week we honor our veterans. So it's only fitting that we come here to GNCC, comes here to the most beautiful spot in West Virginia to do what we love to do, be outdoors, race on the most rugged terrain that the Lord has given us, and honor our veterans. So we're very proud to be able to do that.
I mean, if you think about the GNCC and you think about them being a West Virginia company, a lot of folks here don't have any clue to their size and their magnitude of what they're doing. They're the real deal. I mean, they're the real deal right here in West Virginia. That's all there is to it.
I'm Governor Jim Justice. I cannot possibly be any more excited than to have you here. This event, absolutely coming to West Virginia, is unprecedented how much it's worth and how much value it is to us. You'll find us as a loving, appreciative people. And by that, I mean appreciative is the key word, because we will appreciate you being here. Absolutely, I hope you have an incredible time here in West Virginia. And again, thank you so much for enjoying this incredible, almost heaven state.
Hi, my name is Andrea Lieb, the director of On Track School. How would you like to go to a school where we take into consideration how students learn best? Well, we do that because we find if we can build the curriculum around the things you are interested in, you're going to do a better job. The mission at On Track School is that educational success is possible while chasing your dreams. Not only will our staff help students to achieve success, they will cheer you on to the finish line. We encourage you to check out On Track School at ontrackschool.com, where we can help you chase your dreams and still get a quality education.
We are American motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association, racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends, we become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track. And we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer, we win, and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Waynes as we come to you from round number 8 of this 2021 GNCC Championship season. Walker Fowler, Walker Fowler back out in front of this one as we pick the action and back up at the 7-mile marker. Hunter Hart enjoying a 30-second lead for a little while, but that bridge got gapped, and now we are waiting to see how far back that 3rd and 4th place battle is between the riders up front now, and we saw that it was about 15 seconds. But look, Mikey, there's lap traffic.
Everybody at home's like, yeah, they had to bring it up, and now here it is.
Well, obviously it's going to create a little bit of an issue for these guys, but there goes McClure through now and still hot on his rear wheels. I think this is about where we saw Devin Feehan go down a lap or so ago, and we saw that Cole Richards got to see there's something there. It's kicking those guys in one of those lines a little bit sideways there, so wouldn't be surprised if maybe that might have been what happened to Walker in another area of the track as well. But Walker's back out front, and back on his rear grab bar is the number 7. We're still looking. I think that gap has opened up to about 20-25 seconds. So back to the number 3 spot as that lap traffic is in between, with McClure leading that battle for 3rd place right now over Richardson. And still back there in that number 5 spot is Adam McGill, but he has lost a little bit of time, especially with the lap riders coming into play in this one.
Yeah, Adam kind of back there on that island by himself right now. Nobody really in front of him, nobody really behind him. But boy, he is going to benefit. If anything happens to those guys out front, he's going to be the beneficiary of that. Maybe sneak into the number 4, maybe even number 3 spot.
Well, keeping an eye on this one. I know a lot of folks, anticipating what's going on from that amateur class, that Junior A 22-plus class ride of Jay Shadron, who is up to 11th place position in the overall right now, in between 1st and 2nd in Pro-Am racing. That's pretty impressive. And to say, Jay, he's a former pro rider. Yeah, several years ago, Jay was racing in the pro class, but Jay hasn't been racing over the last few years. He just started racing GNCC again. And from what I understand, unless something's changed, he doesn't even train for these events. I mean, he's still riding on skill and endurance from 5 years ago when he was racing.
I believe that is exactly right. It's uncanny.
It is.
Muscle memory, baby.
And I guess he's young enough. It's staying mindful. Somebody like myself.
Yeah, well, me too.
They forget.
I'll throw myself in it.
My muscles forget pretty quick. I'll tell you that right now. So I forget too. So I guess it's only fitting that my muscles forget as well. But man, great racing action, and I don't think it's over. I got to point out the fact that even though Walker has gotten back around Hunter is a wise enough rider still, even at the young age, and turning veteran, I guess, status as far as pro class as he goes with the experience. But I think he's still smart enough to know, when to push, when not to push. And and so is Walker. It might become kind of one of those old school tactics.
Oh, yeah.
Where you've got just that maybe a half mile before the finish line, you've got this certain area of the race course that you hope nobody opens the lineup so nobody sees it, and you get to surprise somebody with it. And that possibility still looms out there, and we could still see things changing out here as far as this race is concerned. Looking back a little further in the pack there, we see, was that Covert that just went by? I think right now he's listed at 14th overall after some time adjustments, so we should should be getting pretty thick into some XC2 traffic back here at Method Alley as well. Method Race Wheels, that's the guys we're talking about. Go online, check out the great looking wheels that they have for your SUVs and your light duty trucks and things of that nature, the bead locks and everything that go along with them. I mean, they are cool looking wheels. 3 different individuals. Every race this year will take home a set of wheels and $500 in cash. That's an $1,800 package 3 times over. And then at the end of the year, someone's going to win $10,000 and also a set of wheels. So about an $11,000 package is going to be coming to somebody at the end of the season. So thank you to Method Race Wheels for being a part of GNCC in a huge and monumental way. And it's important, giving back to the racers and race fans here.
Oh, yeah, that's a cool thing. You can check them out, methodracewheels.com/GNCC.
Hey, while we got a moment, I also want to talk about what's taking place coming up here in just a couple of weeks right across the road here at High Point Raceway. The Geico Motorcycle High Point National will be taking place Father's Day weekend, 1 p.m. Saturday, June 19th. You can use the discount code KR557 for $5.57 off each ticket order. And if you got the flyer at the front gate, you can scan that code. Otherwise, you might be able to go on to mxsports.com and be able to purchase those tickets with that KR557 code. But definitely, if you're here at the racetrack, take advantage of this. Get your tickets early. Get them now. It is Caleb Russell's pro racing debut in the 250 class, and it's going to be taking place right there at High Point Raceway. There's Walker Fowler continuing to lead this one, and Fowler is now starting to open up a gap over second place. Where is that rear bumper? that toe? There's no toe strap back there now. As we're seeing that gap open up, we're probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 7-8 seconds between first and second, and still a pretty big gap back to the third place position. I'm going in the neighborhood of 20+ seconds at this point. And there it is. If you look off into the distance, there's High Point Raceway right back there, my friends. That's where the magic's going to happen. The 8-time GNCC champion going to be going at it with all those 250 riders. And I know if you follow GNCC and you follow Caleb Russell breaking that jaw in 2 places, or actually probably about 4 places when it's all said and done, the surgeries and things like that as he was practicing for the opening round. But fortunately, as tough as he is, man, I don't think there's a lot of people other than motorcycle racing athletes that can come back from injury like that and rebound, but he certainly has. So KR557 for $5.57 off your ticket to the Geico High Point National. And an hour and 28 minutes, nearly 29 as we approach the hour-and-a-half mark. That puts us somewhere in the neighborhood of 3-4 minutes before we'll be seeing our leaders checking in. There's Walker Fowler now making his way into the final stretches. And again, off camera, just barely a few seconds back is still Hunter Hart, the number 7 machine. So, taking nothing away from the effort of Hunter Hart, and taking nothing away from the fact that he still might be able to pull this one out if things work in his favor out here. But, man, what a great push by him. He has set the tone for where he wants to be as far as the rest of this championship battle is concerned. And if he can't chip the championship points away from Walker Fowler for the number 1 plate, he'll definitely be going to try and chip the points away for that number 2 plate for the 2022 season.
That is for sure. And Rodney, we've not talked about this in a while, but Walker Fowler does have 64 career wins. If he can wrap this up, that's number 65. And
10 away.
Well, 10 away from that, and Bill Balance, 67 wins.
Yeah,
knocking on the door.
So that, that would put
on the door.
Yeah, let's look. Where would that put him in the grand? That would put him third or second if once he gets. He's third right now in the all-time wins GNCC category, but that would put him pretty close in the ranks. You got, I think Barry Hawk would be the only other rider that would be ahead of him right now with like 68 or 69 wins. So, yeah, he's getting up there in the elite of the elite as far as that is concerned. I'm not sure how many Caleb Russell has off the top of my head. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 67. Yeah, 67 wins for Caleb Russell. So he's approaching that mark. Bill Balance, Caleb Russell. That's greatness, dude. Walker Fowler's, and the thing, look at the big picture. He's got the likelihood of doing that within the next year, and with his career still alive for a few more years, you would expect. I mean, you can expect, I mean, you would think that he may catch up to 75, and then on top of that, put even more on top of that. What will the final win count be for Walker Fowler when he is completed? And, you know, you still got to ask the question, will he be able to even beat that 75 win record, because things are getting a little different in this ATV racing world.
It's definitely shaken up. And going back to Bill Balance, we did a what do we call that? Behind the bars racing.
Yeah, behind the bars.
There you go. During the off season with Bill. Yeah. And he had actually mentioned he's thinking about racing. You know, maybe doing a race here or there. So
he's actually
Bill, if you're watching,
building a quad right now. Yeah.
Come back. Race one. Race a couple. Be there for Walker's 67th. Be there for his 68th. Is inevitable. Is it going to happen this season? Maybe.
Maybe. And it wouldn't surprise me after the break. I think that Bill's probably busy farming right now, putting crops in, probably baling hay right now and things like that, getting ready. But you never know. White flag going to be coming out this time around for Walker Fowler as he checks in to the finish line. Now at 1 hour and 31 minutes, almost 32 minutes. Actually, 1 hour, 31 minutes, 45 seconds for Walker Fowler in that race so far with 1 lap to go. 30-minute lap times. We should see this just barely over the 2 hour mark. So right at 2 hours exactly whenever the checker flag is expected to fly. Only 3.4 seconds. So Hunter's getting back up on the speed. Yeah, look at that. He's in the same camera shot now. So something, maybe the white flag inspired him. Maybe that was just a little rest mode there for Hunter Hart. And if that's the case, then this could be exciting over the course of the next 30 minutes. I think Hunter's got the chance of pulling this one off.
Yeah, I think if the opportunity's there, Hunter's got to go for it.
And here's another thing I want to point out. Walker Fowler, obviously our first prodigy of youth ATV racing, considering that I think 2004, 2005 is whenever we began racing modern day youth ATV racing in GNCC. The next rider that came through the ranks that had that right of what we would say is likely going to be one of the top stars one day, a prodigy, if you will, was Hunter Hart.
Yeah.
And this is kind of interesting that we see the two prodigies now head to head.
It's true.
Both products, true products of GNCC racing, is what we're witnessing right now.
That's 100%. And here's I'll throw another one at you. Make us both feel old now. Here in a few years, we're going to have the same conversation about, well, they ran a full season of micro racing at GNCC, and then they did youth. So, I mean, that's just how we have progressed as a series, though.
And I want you as race fans to just remember the name Buchanan.
Oh, without a doubt. The last name, because there's two of them.
Yeah, because exactly. That's why I said it, because the brothers are going to be coming through, and they are going to be terrors whenever. A couple of young prodigies, I think, likely between Brian Buchanan's boys, if you want to know what I'm talking about. He's a top 4x4 pro rider in the morning, and these kids are phenomenal.
Yeah, quick. They are quick.
In and out of the woods sections. Look at that. Lap traffic playing a little bit in this. You can see that that's not 3 seconds anymore. It's more down to the 2 seconds or so. So Hunter Hart is really finding his flow out here this last lap. I was beginning to think, well, here we go. Walker's going to stretch this one out, and that's the way it's going to be. And it'll be Hunter back in the number 2 spot unless those guys can catch up. But that's not the way it is. Hunter is saving the day today as far as this race is concerned. He's not going to let that happen, at least not in this juncture. But you can see Walker Fowler has the head down and charging. He wants this win, and just like you said, I mean, if nothing else, he's got the championship points race. It's a control situation for him at this point. But even with that, he wants the wins.
Oh, yeah.
Every race, he's one of those guys, he wants to win. If he doesn't win, he feels like he lost. That's a 102nd place is just as bad as the second place to Walker Fowler. It seems like, even though in reality it's not. But that's cool how intense these guys are, and the mentality that they bring, the willpower that they bring out here. And on a day like today, Mikey Waynes, when we're looking at nearly 90-degree temperatures, dare I say it, we may be looking at the hottest race day so far in ATV racing anyway.
Feels like it.
If not, it's very close. I know we've had some hot days, but this one could very well be the hottest ATV race day so far. Johnny Gallagher will let us know for sure. I guarantee
for sure. He'll get out the
he'll tell us how sketchy the track is.
Yeah.
We'll know whether or not Johnny had fun today by the attitude that he carries about the racetrack tomorrow.
For sure.
You ever notice when he has a good day, the track's great?
Yeah, it's awesome. Good day.
They may like it, but for me, the famous Johnny G quote. I, on the other hand, feel, and I appreciate that about Johnny.
For sure.
You know, and the beauty of that is he does, and even if he's only looking at it from a perspective of giving you a different way to look about it, that's one thing that he does. He gives you multiple ways to look at it, because sometimes we come in so close-minded. We got to realize there's other options, other things going on out there.
Waiting on the leaders here at the FMF Power Point, mile marker number 3. You can see Hollywood there peeking through the trees, waiting to give us that signal.
Don't know that the H2O has been any better than it is today.
No kidding.
Love waiting. I love this anticipation. How close will Hunter Hart be? You know, we weren't even expecting it, and then all of a sudden Hunter Hart was in the lead. And what we got to remember is that was toward the end of the lap, because we caught them at the finish line. That was that last section that we caught them in that blind spot between the last section we were watching race and the finish line when they came out for the finish line. So this last lap, could Hunter have found something in there that maybe he might be able to utilize going down to the checker flag, and maybe that's why he's just kind of hanging back, knowing that, you know, he's got a place to play his cards a little later on.
And I got to think at this point for Hunter Hart, there might have been a time where we would say Hunter Hart's content. He's been second behind Walker Fowler. I think those days are gone. I think now it's I want that win. I can get that win on Hunter Hart. I can beat this guy straight up.
And I think he's doing it very smart because, you know, don't upset the apple cart. Don't shake the bee's nest, so to speak. You know, I mean, he's just kind of hanging out there. You know, I mean, do it by surprise, and I think that might be what he may be in line to do. There's Walker Fowler out here at the FMF PowerPoint, mile marker number 3. The gap now starting to open back up out there. Did they? No,
there he is.
He's still there. He's still got him in sight. So Hunter, and you know, we talk about this, you know, Hunter Hart would have been content, and we say, no, Hunter's not content. He doesn't appear to be riding at a sense of urgency, which to me is a very good sign right now. He did not look like he was pushing it any whatsoever. So I think he's got something in the tank for the last half of this lap. We may see this thing tighten up and get pretty exciting, maybe more so than we expected it would be when the green flag dropped on this one today.
We talk about Walker managing a race or managing a season. Is he managing a lead right now? Is he saying, I know what I need to do to beat Hunter Hart?
And that's a high likelihood.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to push. I know where I need to push and where I can kind of catch my breath, get a breather, and pace myself.
But if Hunter Hart can play his cards right, I mean, you know, that's exactly what I think we've got going on.
Like, I'm going to call your bluff. I'm coming for you.
We've seen McClure going through. There goes Richardson. That battle between 3rd and 4th has opened up a little bit as well now. Doesn't look like Richardson is going to put himself in position to make it 3 wins in a row here, and I believe his 4th win on this property. But nonetheless, a valiant ride by him. But again, you know, I don't think we've seen the cards being played by either one of these riders, like you pointed out. And the beauty of it is, in this circumstance and situation, if Hunter is able to manipulate things and this lap right, and he has himself in the right position, he might be able to pull that surprise out. And, you know, that's the way a lot of races in old school GNCC were won. You know, it was in the last half mile. That's where a lot of the changes often took place, and the Borch passes, if you will, in that situation. And I'm not saying that Walker Fowler is in a position where he is capable of being boraged, so to speak, but what he is in a position of is, you know, trying to maintain and keep his position, and maybe underestimating the willpower and desire of what Hunter Hart's going to bring, because right now he's not showing that. He's not getting aggressive. That's why I think he's waiting. He wants to show that aggression later.
For sure.
Because right now, Walker's not, he's not pushing, he's not trying to get away from him.
Yeah. What Hunter is doing right now, Rodney, is he's waiting until we got a good camera shot. He's going to make his move.
I like that idea.
We can only hope.
Yeah, right. So out here at the 3, we'll catch up with these guys here in just a few moments. Actually, as we look at the 3rd lap results here and the way it broke down, Hunter Hart and Walker Fowler, again, about 3.4 seconds apart. 28 seconds. That had opened up, doubled over lap number 3. We saw it closer, and then it opened back up. So something, I think that lap traffic really had a lot to do with that. McClure's still in that number 3 spot. He had about 5.6. I'm going to say that's probably doubled over Cole Richardson in the 4th place position. We see another 30 seconds back. Adam McGill, John Glotta Jr., 45 seconds back in 6th. Devin Feehan in the number 7 spot. Then it was Brandon Owens leading still in the XC2 Pro-Am class. He was 8th overall. 9th overall was Wesley Wolf, 8th in class. 9th in class and 10th overall, Josh Merritt. And 11th overall after 3 laps of racing is still the number 438, Jay Shadron from that Junior A22 Plus class. Behind him in 12th place overall is your 2nd place XC2 Pro-Am rider in Ben Kowalewski. What's the difference in Kowalewski and Jay Shadron? Looks like about 18 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jay moving.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty impressive stuff that we got going on there. And, you know, still not to say that it ain't going to change even more.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, we could see Jay move up. We could see these guys catch fire in that XC2 Pro-Am on the last lap and see Jay start to drop back. But regardless, a great push by Shadron today.
Yeah, love seeing him back out here.
You know, that makes me wonder, where are we looking at if we're going to look at top amateurs? Who would be 2nd in top amateurs right now? That would be Junior Junior A22 Plus class, LaDon, 2nd in the class. Then we got the Bet A30 Plus class, 24th overall. Jeff Pickens would be top 3 top amateurs today.
Papa P. JP had a little mechanical today. Not the best day for little JP Pickens.
Oh, really?
And then Tracy Pickens pulled the whole shot.
Yep.
And then had a battle with Caitlin Osborne. Ended up costing both of them a couple of positions there at the end.
Yeah, it looked like Tracy was having some sort of issue at the end.
They came around the corner. I didn't see it when it happened. I saw the aftermath, but her and Caitlin Osborne kind of jockeying for position coming into the finish, got hung up, but opened the window of opportunity for Emily Wise to make the pass on both of them and take that 3rd place podium position. So it was a wild one.
Wow.
So, hey, maybe that's a prelude, like we were saying earlier, for this one.
So who was it? Who got the WXC win? I was so wrapped up in that battle.
Hannah Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Hurricane is rolling.
She needed that. Leaders on the way, and we're going to see Walker Fowler back on point again, still here at the 4-mile marker, and still in that 7 to 10 second deficit range. I believe is still the number 7 of Hunter Hart. But we'll get the full account of that coming up about right now, actually, as Fowler checking in now at this 4-mile marker. And we're waiting on, and yep, it's less. I'm calling it 7 seconds is I think what I counted there. Is that what you got too, Ryan? 7 seconds. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. He's still well within striking distance, and he can make those moves. And again, no sense of urgencies back there for him. So very calm and collected. I have to think, you know, a younger Hunter Hart might be a little more antsy, maybe a little more anxious, but he's really riding like a seasoned veteran out there. Like he's won races, multiple races out here before. So maybe that confidence will continue into actually winning today.
Yeah, Hunter's the maturity level this season has been pretty daggone good.
Well, McClure still back in that number 3 position. That gap opening up between he and Cole Richardson, and even more back to Adam McGill rounding out the top 5. It is a hot one here today on the Mason-Dixon line, and it's likely to heat up as we head toward the checkers. Will Walker Fowler hang on to it? Will Hunter Hart pull one out? Stick around to find out. GNCC Live continues after this.
Brown's RV Superstore is family owned and operated and stake their reputation on offering you the finest RVs available in their McBee, South Carolina RV dealership. Brown's RV Superstore carries motorhomes, fifth wheels, travel trailers, and toy haulers, and keep a huge inventory of new and used RVs in stock for you to choose from. They offer top dollar for your RV trade-in and help you get the RV financing you need. As a part of the GNCC family, Brown's RV Superstore, in partnership with Vengeance Toy Haulers, offers sponsorship packages for every level of racer with discounts and continued savings on your new toy hauler. Brown's RV Superstore has dedicated themselves to complete customer satisfaction, specializing in providing a positive start to your RV adventure. They look forward to customers coming back to share their tales from the road. Call Brown's RV Superstore today at 877-805-3658 or visit their website at brownsrvsuperstore.com, where family fun begins.
Good morning, my name is John Coffey. I'm an AMSOIL dealer from Southern Virginia. Today's AMSOIL Spotlight, it is on our beautiful, easy, and convenient Easy Packs. We have these for transmission fluids, differential fluids, and you talk about something that's super easy to change the differential fluid. In fact, I upgraded mine this week here. I freshened it up. Took me longer to drain the old stuff out. And then you can take this in any position, you can put it in, squeeze it out, and in about 30 seconds you've drained that into whatever you're trying to fill back up again. Again, we have them for differential fluids, transmission fluids, we have them for ATVs, UTVs, Polaris, Can-Am, we've got special transmission fluids as well. So no matter what position that you need to be in, these will take care of that. And they're super strong. You don't have to worry about them bursting or anything. And in fact, they're just amazing, really.
The Yamaha GNCC University returns, calling all ATV and motorcycle off-road racers. Are you looking to hone your riding and racing skills? Want to learn hands-on with the best of the best past and current GNCC racers and champions? Then sign up for the 2021 Yamaha GNCC University, returning to Snowshoe Mountain Resort June 23rd through the 25th. We're bringing together Yamaha's ATV and motorcycle racing elite to instruct in-depth courses and fundamentals of racing and riding. During the Yamaha GNCC University, students will participate in lectures about sportsmanship, training, proper nutrition, and mental preparation, along with hands-on skills and drills designed to improve your riding and confidence in a variety of terrain and situations. Reservations are on a first-come, first-served basis, with limited openings evenly split between the disciplines. For more details and to register, contact Snowshoe Mountain Resort at 877-441-4386. This Racer TV broadcast is brought to you by Specialized. Specialized Turbo E-Bikes. It's you, only faster. And by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
And welcome back to GNCC Live from the Mason-Dixon line in, southwestern Pennsylvania, Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, if you will. Round number 8 of America's Premier Off-Road Racing Championship. Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Waynes and, of course, a host of great amateurs that make up the GNCC Racing Nation. And with that, taking a look at our amateur rundown here through the first 3 laps of racing in the Bet A 30-plus class. Big Pop P out front of A.J. Kuntz there in the second place position. Wes Kinsley, good to see that name back out there in third. Brad Whitehead in fourth. Luke Reeves rounding out the top 5. Brian Foltz, your senior A 40-plus class leader out of Sharpsburg, Pennsylvania. Brian Axline in second. Brian Shaw in third. Chris Conklin in fourth. And Jeremy Gouchard rounds out the top 5. College B class, we see Chance Hickey, who got off to a great start earlier today out of Middletown, Delaware, in the number 1 spot. Colton Dobbs in second. John Ashcraft running in that number 3 position. Puts that Paxton Dickerson in the number 4 spot with Chris Howard rounding out the top 5. Robbie Rosenberger, your Junior B 22-plus class leader. Ethan Helbig in the number 2 spot. Eric Kroger, Big Krog in 3rd. Henry Moore in 4th. And Corey Pancake rounds out your top 5 in that one. From the Junior B to the Vet B 30-plus class, Jason Ellis leading Tim White in this one as David Kite out of Maryland runs in the number 3 spot. Ryan Leckrone in 4th, and it's Robert Henson rounding out the top 5, one of the few Southern boys in that top 10 list. Senior B 40-plus class, Dave Ashby out of Amity, Pennsylvania, leading Richard Sievers out of Negley, Ohio. Richie McCauley in 3rd. Rick Marino in 4th, and Jason Lemley rounds out your top 5. There's a look at what things are shaping up like for your XC1 Pro class with Fowler, Hart, McClure, Richardson, McGill. Your top 5 in that one. And, of course, a closer look at that XC2 Pro-Am class coming for you as well with Owens and Kowalewski. Wyatt Wilkin into the number 3 spot. Tanner Walker in 4th. And Ronnie Rush, who's leading the points all the way back in the number 5 spot. As we say, these top 10 riders, it is a deep, deep field of XC2 Pro-Am class riders. And to see how that championship race is breaking down is very exciting. Alex Tiemann leading the College A 16 to 21-year-old class with Cameron Abey running in 2nd. Keaton Henderson is 3rd. Cody Forrester in 4th. And Lane McCormick rounds out your top 5. Only one rebel in that one from the southern states, that 2nd place ride. Jay Shadron out of Mount Pleasant here in PA running the lead. Jeremy Ladon, Glenshaw, Pennsylvania. Ladon Racing backed right in 2nd. Devin Masters in the number 3 spot. Alex Elioff in 4th, and Travis Enderelli in that number 5 spot. And that is your rundown of our top 5 amateurs in GNCC racing here this afternoon. Again, about 95% of the riders on the racetrack at a GNCC are amateur riders. Of course, we pay attention to what's going on up front in our pro class on both Saturdays and Sundays. An hour and nearly 53 minutes into this one, waiting on Walker Fowler at Method Alley, the 7-mile marker here. And, of course, there is Fowler coming in now. And Fowler, again, no senses of urgency for him. Just a handful of miles still to go before we reach the checker flag in this one. And what I was thinking might be a play on the part of Hunter Hart and trying to lay back. Either A, may have bitten him, or that was not the case, because all of a sudden Walker Fowler has clicked up a couple of gears and he has checked out. There's some lap traffic in between he and 2nd place position, and here he comes finally. There is Hunter Hart, and he's got at least 2 lap riders between them, so you got to wonder what was coming behind them to get them separated that much here at this Mason-Dixon GNCC. Panning back around, and there is your 3rd place ride. So you can see something happening, and Hunter Hart getting caught up in that lap traffic, and that is tightening up quite a bit in that 2nd and 3rd place positions. It went from 30 seconds to what?
It's 30 seconds now.
Okay, well then that's about what it is. Okay, it looks a lot tighter than that whenever they came through, but they were 30 seconds apart when they came through at the finish line. So they're keeping pace. So Hart maybe not losing any or not slowing down any, just Walker Fowler maybe on this last lap, not wanting to see the circumstance develop that we thought could be possible for Hunter Hart to be trying to go for one of those last-ditch effort passes heading toward the finish line there. So interesting, a lot of interesting points to ponder right now as we motor to near 2 hours of racing. We're about 5 minutes out from 2 hours itself, and that puts us about 7.5 minutes out from seeing Walker Fowler or our whoever takes the win take those checkers here shortly. So, but right now it appears to be Walker Fowler on course to win number 65 of his career, bringing him 2 steps closer to the great Bill Balance. And also, when you look at the perspective and grand scheme of things, also overall on both 2 and 4 wheels, only 2 away from Caleb Russell's impressive 67 wins in XC1 two-wheel racing action. And right now, just a waiting game, basically, as we wait for riders to check in. There's the number 3, Cole Richardson. Looks like whatever it is, it's really separated a lot of riders out here on this final lap of racing. And, you know, Mikey had mentioned it, and after the first 2 laps of racing, one thing that we hadn't mentioned, one thing that we hadn't talked about like we had in previous races at that juncture, or started thinking about it anyway, was lap traffic. A good rider turnout again here today, but a little longer course, and a little more separating course, I think. And there's also plenty of opportunities to get around in most areas. Now, we're seeing a lot of tight sections here that you may not want to get out of here at this particular junction at the 7-mile marker, but a little further down the trail, you know, there could be 4 or 5 lanes that have opened up, and different opportunities presenting themselves. And it changes lap after lap and class after class out there on that racetrack. Leaders due in less than 6 minutes now. And if you take a look at the XC2 class, I'm kind of curious. Again, well, we're a minute and 38 seconds, call it a minute 39 between Owens and Kowalewski. Boy, Brandon Owens really picking that pace up, a 31.57 last time to Kowalewski's 32.34. Wyatt Wilkin turning in a lap time of 32.59. He is about 24 seconds behind Kowalewski right now. Tanner Walker, another top rider in this class out of Berlin, PA, a minute 43 seconds back. A minute 6 seconds, I should say, and a minute 43 seconds back in 5th is Ronnie Rush, your points leader in this class. So a little shakeup as far as the position finishes are concerned here, and I'm sure it's going to give a few people a chance to advance and tighten things up out there. Sweep riders out keeping an eye on the racetrack. If you wonder, why is there a motorcycle on the racetrack on ATV race day? Well, we send a number of our track crew out to keep an eye on the course itself and to make sure that there are no problem spots. And then secondly, to keep an eye on riders and to make sure that they're traversing the course and making laps, and also making sure there are no injuries on the course as well. Heard the reports today, a lot of mechanical breakdowns, and I'm not sure what would cause that. I mean, there's probably a few variables that could be factored into that, but basically that's what this word of the morning was. So Walker Fowler out front, Hunter Hart in second. Hart was out front then for a little while, then Walker was able to make that pass back on him and establish dominance here, as we are now about 3 minutes, I believe. By the way, 9 minutes is what it says before we should see the XC2 Pro-Am class riders checking in. 3 minutes 41 seconds, so well less than 4 minutes now, as we watch Hunter Hart out of Newfield, New York, on the Hunter Hart Racing Maxxis flyback machine. Certainly going to have a lot of positives to take away from this race today, and also should translate into momentum heading into Snowshoe GNCC. Being a New York rider, no stranger to the rocks and things of that nature, so he's always been a force and threat there, and I expect that he'll be the same again this year in this XC1 Pro class. So get another look at Hunter Hart and Walker Fowler and the rest of the field one more time at Snowshoe. And I'm just going to say this, if you're, I mean, come on, less than $300 for the GNCC University. There's just a handful of spots left open, but to get taught from well, guys like Johnny Gallagher and Walker Fowler and Tracy Pickens and several others on the four-wheel side of things, on the two-wheel side of things, pretty good stuff going on there as well. Stu Baylor, Randy Hawkins, they're going to be there teaching, as well as Mike Witkowski, Becca Sheets, Rachel Archer. So check them out, Snowshoe GNCC University. there at Snowshoe Mountain. There's Walker Fowler in the home stretch. We are mere moments away from the historic win number 65 for Walker Fowler, putting him 2 away from the great Bill Balance and 10 away from the 6-time GNCC champion of Chris Borich. And watching Walker weave in and out of and through some of these trees out here, we know that we are getting closer to the finish line region itself. According to timing and scoring, we are well less than 2 minutes, approaching the 1 minute mark in this class, or 1.5 minutes anyway. Fowler riding the outskirts of this big chain link fence, which is an equipment yard for an old gas and oil well system that they've got installed here on the property. And of course, able to utilize that fenced-in area with all the gravel. It was great this weekend. There's gravel under that grass with, of course, the rain showers coming in this week. Making for a perfect racetrack and presenting us what, well, this rider right here is going to say a perfect race day as Walker Fowler rounds the final few turns, heading down Pro Row now at VP Fuels Pro Row in pursuit of the checker flag and the win here on the Mason-Dixon line. Less than a minute to go now as Walker Fowler makes his way out of that equipment yard. Now the pit area here in GNCC Racing. He'll dip back into the wood section one final time. And when he appears, he will see Ricky Towery waiting patiently with that checker flag. Will there be any more issues for Walker Fowler through this section? Does he have this one in the bag? As Fowler makes his way through those trees, he'll be coming out right about now. And there's Fowler now, hammered down and headed toward the chicanes and final turns, and Walker Fowler appears to have done it. No, we are back in the pro pits. I'm getting excited, I think, here, getting way too excited. Big, long pro pit section for these riders. Now we're into that final section. That's how excited I am about this finish line. And here it is. All right, finish line coming at you now. Final few turns as Walker Fowler works his way through some lap traffic around the big brown bales of hay. Behind him, he checks out to ahead of him. He checks and sees the checker flag, and win number 65 for Walker Fowler here at the Mason-Dixon GNCC. So Walker Fowler establishing, I believe, what might be his second win here on this property. And of course, some major dominance once again, letting the folks know you may be hungry, but you still got to roll through me to win this championship. As Mikey Waynes has put it so many times, as we got the battles on coming toward the finish line now. Looks like a heated one for this second place position. And Hunter Hart, did he find company from Jared McClure? Did the sneaky snake strike on the final lap and make the bite? No, he did not. Hunter Hart will win by 3/4 of a second in that second place battle over McClure. Can't say that he ain't got a few snake bites though, because Jared McClure came in hard. He came in fast in that final last half a lap. Cole Richardson, who was about 5 seconds behind at the end of lap number 3. Still waiting on him here at the finish line as Walker Fowler checks in and takes the helmet off down at the finish line. And you can see a little bit of sweat, but even under these extreme conditions today with the sun being hot, doesn't look too exhausted, too spent. So a good day at the racetrack, no doubt about that. Congratulations, Walker Fowler, Hunter Hart, and Jared McClure in that order, 1, 2, and 3 here at the Parts Unlimited Mason-Dixon GNCC. Mikey Waynes making his way down to the winner's circle region now, as we'll get a word in with our overall winner, Walker Fowler. Right now he's talking with some folks, must be talking about, yep, that's got to be talking about that little crash that put him back and set him back into that number 2 position, and the one that he had to work back from to regain the lead as well as capture this win here today on the Mason-Dixon line. It's a hot one. Water going down the back out there. I want to say thanks to Parts Unlimited for the cooling station right there at the finish line for all these riders as they make their way off the racetrack after the finish of the race. And speaking of which, Walker Fowler, well, pulling off the win. He's hanging out with Mikey down in the winner's circle.
Well, down here with Walker Fowler, and I think honestly, Walker's a little winded. I think you got some left in the tank. I think you had one more lap in you, man.
Oh, definitely. But dang it, man, those kids, we're going to have to quit helping them, you know? He spent the week at the house, so we've got his bike set up pretty good, and just worked on basics, you know? That's what I'm working on, and that's what he lacks. And I'm talking about Hunter Hart, and he must have listened to my pre-race interview where I mentioned every rider on the track but him that I thought was going to be a threat today. And, man, he made me work for that one. He got off to a great start, and then I was able to get the inside on him, and he didn't have to give it to me going into the woods, but I was going to press the issue to try to get into the lead there. I just knew the track didn't have a lot of passing opportunities, so just tried to honestly stretch out, and we did, but not on Hunter. He latched on. He loves to play the tow rope game, he calls it. It's like a skier behind a boat. I throw about 40 foot of line out, and he just holds on for dear life. So, man, hats off to him. That was fun. He got sick on the starting line. It kind of freaked everybody out, and we kind of rolled him out right as they're about to say 10 seconds, and maybe he was just nervous, or I don't know, ate some bad fish, something. But I was impressed. That's the best ride he's put in, in his career, and that's not taking anything away from his win. That's just, like I said, he rode really good today, and I made a mistake coming in for the 2-lap card. There was one little vine right here before we come into the finish line. I clipped it and stopped me dead in my tracks, and I lost a lot of time there. Was only about 10 up on probably McGill, I believe, at that point, and had make up about 25 seconds on Hunter, and I just pushed my brains out. When I caught him, he actually pulled over. He looked like he was struggling a little bit, and I needed a break. I was pretty tuckered out from running him down in 6 miles. Man, I just tried to leave him, and I couldn't leave him. So hats off to him, his crew, and that was a lot of fun. Hot day, demanding track. I can't believe as dusty and weird and rocky powdery as this place usually is, it was a slick, soft son of a gun.
Well, Walker, you are now, I believe, Rodney can correct me back in the booth, I think this is win
65.
You know, I should have asked you.
Yep, win number 65. My wins can retire.
2 wins away from tying some guy named Bill Balance.
Yeah, we'll never count chickens before they hatch, that's for sure. So one race at a time. I knew with Bryson out that somebody was going to step up and fill his shoes, and man, the whole pack honestly tried. So if those guys would ride like that every weekend, there'd be 6 guys coming into the finish line wheel to wheel. So it's funny that a little bit of confidence and a little bit of second win for somebody makes them ride that well. I rode just as hard as I did last weekend, if not harder. So on to the next one, on to Snowshoe. And that's not going to be McGill's mountaintop, it's going to be ours.
Oh, he's calling it right now. There's your winner here today.
Shout out all my awesome friends, family. Man, it was just awesome having such a great group of people here close to home. Definitely got to give glory to God first and foremost. The Piper family and all my family that watch online, thank you so much. My beautiful girlfriend for dealing with her head case of a boyfriend. My man Mark Notman just kicking butt, taking names. He's one of my best friends. Man, my whole crew that was in the woods, Dave Childers and crew, thank you guys. Shout out to Jeff Hart for giving us pit boards all race, and definitely the whole WFR Yamaha, GBC Fly Racing Yamaha team, all those guys that fly FMF, Behringer brake systems, B&R suspension and Fox suspension, and Moto Experts webcam and anti-gravity batteries getting us off to another killer start, and man, just all these awesome sponsors. Thank you guys.
Well, Walker Fowler taking win number 65. As he said, his wins can now retire and get a pension, I guess you could say. But that's a funny way to look at it. And just like we expected and anticipated and talked about, Hunter brought everything out there, and Walker Fowler answered the question as to, hey, it is just as tough out there regardless of whether what was some of his stiffest competition out of Bryson Neal. And we saw Hunter Hart rise to new occasions. Interesting fact that Hunter got ill just before the drop of the green flag out there. I'm of a mindset to think that maybe the nerves were getting to him, and he was excited about what the future was holding here as far as this day. And I'll tell you, he's got a lot to look back on, a lot to be proud of and excited about as well, as he wraps up that second place position here at the Mason-Dixon GNCC. Well, Hunter did exactly what we asked him to do yesterday in the pro pits. I said, buddy, you don't have to win, but at least come out and try and give us a show, and that's exactly what he did. So we're going to head down to the winner's circle now for our second place overall, who's standing by with Mikey Waynes, Mr. Hunter Hart.
Thanks, Rodney. Down here with Hunter Hart, he was saying, Mikey, did you see me throw up before the start? It worked out well. I think I might have to do that before the start of every race.
Oh yeah, that was a solid day. That was everything you could ask for out of a day at a race. I set my goal basically to stay with Walker all day. We were fortunate enough to come out with hang out with him and Mark this week. We definitely made some solid improvements, and yeah, I kind of felt just like when I was at his house, except for instead of him letting me lead one, him lead. This time he just led, and it was good. He was able to pull me along, and he actually tagged a vine, and I led probably 4 or 5 miles of it. And I didn't really like it. It was a harder to lead than I really cared for. And then I was happy when he caught me. I was like, "Take me home, buddy." And he pulled me probably 95% of the day. And then the last 5 miles, I was on my own, and it was a little bit of a struggle. Jared caught me in the end, and we were just able to keep a cool, level head through those field sections and bring her home to second.
I mean, it was an amazing race and a solid day. Rodney and I were talking in the booth. We think there was a time Hunter Hart would have been like, man, I'm so content with this. But I got to think now, if the opportunity's there, you're going for that win.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna capitalize it whenever I can capitalize. But we definitely still need to work on that last 20 or so minutes. We could definitely feel it today with the heat, but we've made some. We're good, and we need to just work on that last 20-25 minutes or so, and we'll be set. And the first hour and a half we're golden. We just gotta finish a little stronger, and we'll be good. But no, we're close, and we're excited. We're happy with the progress, and we're gonna enjoy the moments as they come, and not get too high on this one, so you don't get too low on bad weekends.
There you go, guys. Hunter Hart finishing in the number 2 spot here today at the Mason-Dixon GNCC.
Well, I'll tell you, very impressive interview. And that last statement, try not to get too high on this one so you don't get too low on some of the other disappointing races. But obviously got things into perspective, and a great run here today, finishing up in the number 2 spot. Like he said, Jerry McClure caught him. That sneaky snake was making the strikes, but could not sink the teeth in. He finishes up 0.746 behind Hunter Hart for that 3rd place overall position and 3rd place in the class. Adam McGill will check in 4th place, 1 minute and 30 seconds back, and another 1 minute and 4 seconds back. In 5th place is going to be John Glada Jr. So that youngster is able to give us another consistent top 5 ride here in the 2021 season. As looks like we're back down into the winner's circle. Well, Mikey Waynes is hanging out with the almost Cobra today, and he definitely is a sneaky snake as he nearly made that pass on Hunter Hart. Jared McClure.
Yeah, down here with Jared McClure. We're all good there. Jared, man, a 3rd place finish. You talked a couple weeks ago at the Pitton about getting that consistency, getting yourself back up on the box, and you found yourself there again today.
Yeah, definitely didn't have the best start out there, but I kind of paid off. There was a couple crashes in the first 2 or 3 corners, and I was just able to avoid all that and kind of fell in a line about 5th, I guess, and early on, me and Cole Richardson had a pretty good battle. Kind of went back and forth, and Walker and Hunter kind of got away from us. So we were kind of basically battling. Then I got around Cole, gapped him, and just kind of was stuck in my own race all day.
Man, talk to us about the top 3 finish. I mean, you feel like we're getting up in your neck of the woods now. You feel like you got more confidence heading into these. It's only a matter of time, I think, until we see McClure center of the box.
Yeah, I hope so, man. it's definitely a little easier with Bryson out of the picture. You know, bummed he's not out here racing with us. Give him a shout out. Hope everything went well and he's on his way to recovery because, you know, he wished me good luck today. So, you know, that's awesome to get that from a competitor. So, you know, but like I said, ended up in third. And, yeah, it's momentum, you know. Last race, got the second, and just keep carrying the confidence. Every time you're up here, just feel better and more confident in the machine, and that's what it takes.
There you go, Jared. We'll let you get rehydrated, man. Rodney, we'll take it back to you.
All righty. Congratulations once again to Jared McClure on that third-place position. Finished there, and for the overall as well as class, as we said, Adam McGill in fourth, John Glotta Jr. in fifth. Cole Richardson pulling off the sixth-place position. Actually dropped back several positions there in the closing moments of this race. Devin Feehan was seventh. Wesley Wolf, the 741, in eighth. Josh Merritt in ninth aboard the number 8. And get this, rounding out the top 10 overall, Junior A 22-plus class winner, Jay Shadron. That is correct, my friends. And he even beat out XC2 Pro-Am rider Brandon Owens, who finishes 11th overall, taking the class win here today. So pretty impressive ride for the 438 of Jay Shadron, to say the least. And that one's going to leave us like that. So congratulations to our top three, Brandon Owens, Ben Kowalewski, and Tanner Walker in our XC2 Pro-Am. Also running rush and Wyatt Wilkin. That's going to do it here on a Saturday from the Mason-Dixon GNCC. For Mikey Waynes and all of us here at RacerTV.com and GNCC, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody.